They call themselves anonymous. They are hackers on steroids.
Police say they have arrested 3 suspected hackers believed to be part of an international network.
A group calling themselves Anonymous has vowed to destroy the Church of Scientology.
Anonymous, the group responsible for Operation Payback, which temporarily crippled the websites of MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal.
We are Legion.
We are Anonymous.
Distributed denial of service, devolved the stack or drag when DOS attacks. Suits without a head get scared and shit. They slash you what we lack. A sense of compassion and justice must be swift. How turn to hurt in the pockets of white supremacists. These nemesis is never this vicious. We throw the net for missions. Evil's your position. Your file's gonna come up missing. With a post they dissing, posturing and speaking out of fear. Super consciousness, our warriors are virtual bombardiers. We don't forget. Expect us wasn't no one to protect us. Come together as a legion. Internet unite, connect us. We will make our presence known. We got folks on the megaphones. SQL injecting intravenously like it's prednisone. Rebelling on a larger scale. We Jonas came to slay the where we hip. So they slither and swinging them lizards by their tail. We check their mail, defacing professional looking webpage. When I rhyme, I wake the sheeples catatonic vestige. Buttle in the message, encapsulated in the rap track. Black facts is project chronology. Talking fat ass, but a back fact. And I'm the type of person never had jack. Destruction, the Chris Fall camp, or the way this ass that. We vigilant, the vigilante, highest staking up the anti-cross site script. And Felicia Palmer with bunch the panties. Epilepsy foundation, fall from invasion. Turks and Brazilians, Tunisians, even Malaysians.
Gawker website, we pulled that just to have a look about what's going on. It talks about the power people now have on the internet if they want to do this.
Technically speaking, they are heroes because they can solve everything. They are up all over the security systems.
Train event, we rage and give a fuck about a cussing club McKay hatch. Profanity, I spew it for the fucking loving cause I can. And who the hell is you to try to change a man? Operation Payback, radical Avenger Sanj. Intelligent Israelis with viruses known as Stuxnet. Programming logic controllers and root kids ass. We need to know, trying to feed the homeless. Cops are screaming no, government and corporate sources. We must defeat our foes as freedom goes. They trying to sniff us out and get the ISPs reversed. And the cameras on computers, feds are eyeing me. Marine Corps, Brick Bradley, man and naked, the Quantico. Maximum security methods with torches trying to go to Aaron Bar forever. You will walk around with slash and scar and crash your car. Executives are worshiping the morning star. It is bizarre, the people are the ones oppressing people. When will the day come? We recognize as equals. Electronic money from Satoshi Nakamoto. Spending bitcoins on hoes for their photos with no komodos. Remarkable power, the python is clearing syntax. International Federation of Photo Bin Jack. The script kiddies hacking to the mainframe of big cities. YouTube videos for children showing big titties. No pity for the oppressive and get it through your skulls. We were born to change the world, evolving past the hats for laws.
There are hackers which are fighting for some kind of ideological points and hackers who are just doing illegal activities.
Police department goes into certain things and the government goes into certain things. Probably I would put that on the same level as I would someone who goes in and hacks into a site they're not supposed to be on.
The bottom line is, if you have information in a database someplace, consider yourself a potential target.
Expect us. We don't forgive, so don't forget.
Yeah, they got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, $1 billion in their bedroom, and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. Got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, billions in the bedroom, and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. They spend $1 million just to eat, and it costs half for a seat, and they'll charge 50 grand an hour if you want them to speak. They got what you wish you had, but what they got in the bag ain't really worth nothing at all. But they got your mom and dad believing in the system and buying it all the time, and I feel bad for us all, cause it's really just a crime. See, JP Morgan Chase and the heads of some banks, they made down at Jekyll Island just to privatize the banks. They took control, the books are closed. We can't look, no one knows what they're doing, what they're making. They just say, hey, we're banking banksters are gangsters. That's what I'm yelling. They own your reality, you control your salary. They got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, $1 billion in their bedroom, and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. Got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, billions in the bedroom and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. I said the money is a weapon that funds a regression, and the laws are imposing that leaves a good person broken, left down on bended knees, stressed to begging to be free. It's worldwide, at a side, every town and overseas. Those who are owned by those who sit on a throne, and they build it all to watch it fall, just like Rome. And they know it and they feed it, so we'll read it and believe it. Them headlines full of doubt, so we'll bail them out. Yeah, the more they print, the less it's worth, but they won't ever feel the hurt. But I bet you do when you walk up to it and have to pay the clerk. Yeah, they say they're saving the world and all these nations, but it's really all controlled to explode through inflation. They got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, $1 billion in their bedroom and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. Got $1 billion in the ceiling and $1 billion in the office, billions in the bedroom and it's locked in the closet. See, it ain't a problem to control who makes a profit when you're the ones cutting all the holes in our pockets. Yeah.
In my mind's factory, thoughts of graveyard street, stones and concrete. Focused on my grind, while crucifying your mind. Hoods full of hanging trees, while glancing at teary eyes. My children need lime. No dapple, you drinking from Judas' cup with them store-bought souls. Police comrades hidden while council hesitate. You say you want change, but forget the vote tape. Here's some real attire. These stolen speech supplier, giving us substance to trouble because the devil's a liar. We low life, desperados, thug life, we never faded. It's art of war that I tasted. Archangels done got me wasted. The elite keep trying to throw me a bone, but they have nothing bad I care to own. But this is God's plan. I just don't understand why he put the life of others in the hands of a man. But keep your guns low. Gun in my lap, De Niro, he'd always ready to go. Ride slow with the windows low. Peacefully protest while keeping your guns low. Don't lose focus what we here for. Just keep them guns low, slow. 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 Sit on the pavement, watch scenes, cars, supermarket justice. See the man's eye when protectors became judges. Medias bring out his pants, say he got what he got, and watch him run away to say deserve to get shot. Measure out what you hold, or compliment your toes. Watching the city faces and care less when they're road. Religion preaches salvation while pulling money out the safe. Smile when you give it, then paint you save. Always search for knowledge on your own is a must. And remember one day we're all coughed and dust. Waste no life on things made to impress. Why buy life insurance if you already did? Work a 9 to 5, no less than 40 hours. You're a slave while keeping the elites in power. But it's a new dawn, a change is coming for sure. Stay peacefully protected while keeping your guns low. And keep your guns low. Gun in my lap, De Niro, he'd always ready to go. Ride slow with the windows low. Peacefully protest while keeping your guns low. Don't lose focus what we here for. Just keep them guns low, slow. Just keep them guns low, slow. Just keep them guns low, low. Just keep them guns low, slow. Children in poverty, Michigan water they drink, loving their life and dreams, where they spread their wings, fly to a place where carrying the warm breeze, praying for better days, hoping that freedom rings and stop tragedies. Where justice hasn't come, you got killers around, but they carry your cops gun, dividing our cultures. Make the world not listen. Racial tension make you stop seeing the feelings we're missing. Children in Syria, guys we're losing our heart. The richest country in the world, finding its way in the dark. God frowns down as we lose religiously. Presidential popularity instead of standing for liberty. We must find what we're missing. Revolution carry me, soldiers losing their lives until we're all running free. The concrete jungle sits under my feet. As we march for humanity, we need unity, unity. Just keep them guns low, slow. Just keep them guns low, low.
round two, back again, another global movement, which I just think that in itself is just, that speaks in volumes, and that shows that people can get together, even if it is a trending thing or a social media thing or whatever it is, it's happening.
Just get it started, kiss the daily departed. I'm about to leave a mark on this earth, I will be forgotten. I'm with my people, I'm taking action, I'm finished talking. I grit my teeth and I hit these streets and I get the marching. Yeah, hold up, wait a minute. How can you stand up for what you believe in? If you sitting, you gotta get up and get to going and get up in it. Cause once we have risen out of this prison, then there is no limit. Yeah, ain't the time for us to lay down big dreams. This ain't the Ides of March, this is Jan 15. Yeah, it's a sick scheme, but we bound to power through it. All you gotta do is show up, don't worry about how you do it. And this music is to help grow seeds underneath us. No one can do it alone, each one is needed. With every revolutionary, we've come to beat them. And we do this all for you, peace, love, and freedom. Rise up, all my people, are you with me now? Rise up, all my brothers and my sisters now. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up. This is power to the people now. Rise up, and we call it all warriors. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up.
Rise up, that spirit moving inside us. Hold strong when the COINTELPRO try to divide us with their left, right, black and white mass media hype. Meanwhile, they be keeping real issues out of sight, like the poison in our water, soil, sky, seeds, food. The daily assault upon me, her, him, you. The endless supply of lies and chemical-filled skies. We confront them with truth. They try and brush us aside, but we ain't budging. Me, Diesel, and Steve Grant, plus IDD and family. We truth hop champs, uplifting our fam, taking a strong stand, putting in the work. The situation demands. Got our hands in the dirt and our eyes on the target. You could say we pulling weeds from the garden. Standing with my brothers cause our mothers getting raped. Time to put the violators in their place.
Rise up, all my people, are you with me now? Rise up, all my brothers and my sisters now. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up. This is power to the people now. Rise up, and we call it all warriors. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up.
Rose up for God within the phoenix. I forgot about my freedom when the demons took Eden, and now I'm back, tribed out, no doubt. Make it a mission to maximize my vision in the name of ascension. To spreading riches like we're children frolicking under the sun. When the journey is done, reminisce on all to define. Let my soul into a body that didn't cooperate. So I exited the matrix and rewire my fate. They said it couldn't be done, tried to hit me with curses. I'm a hippie gypsy wizard with a lyrical purpose. People hurting, people poverty stricken. They steady looking to a system that killed everyone off. Like we were victims here at quick. It's like David Wilcock. Get the beginning of this journey. Now you're learning and yearning for all his wisdom. Find your name is just a number. You live in a box. You best to turn a cold shoulder, my soldier, and rise up.
Rise up, all my people, are you with me now? Rise up, all my brothers and my sisters now. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up. This is power to the people now. Rise up, and we call it all warriors. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up.
On the mic and we rising up for the fight, cause the time and the place is right. It's like lightning the way we strike. Hit them quick and fast, listen as the microphone gets ripped in half. It's the type of track to get you hyping up to kick some ass. Keep it peaceful though, Steve Grant and Diesel flow. For the people and we planting mental seeds so we can grow. As a species of earthlings on this planet, the first things understanding we share is when we inhabit. We are not alone, the planet don't belong to us. What the heck is wrong with us? Everything will be gone because of us. If we don't change the way we live, if you say that you don't give a damn, then maybe you should think about the future generations, yeah, the babies and the kids who will learn from our actions in the way that we get big. Rise up, all for one and one for all. We changing the way we live because we trying to evolve.
Rise up, all my people, are you with me now? Rise up, all my brothers and my sisters now. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up. This is power to the people now. Rise up, and we call it all warriors. Rise up, cause we all in this together now. Rise up, everybody around the world, rise up.
Rise, rise, you better rise up. Rise, rise, you better rise up. Rise, rise, you better rise up. All my brothers and my sisters, we gon' rise up.
realest of the realest. Every time when they play good over the music, I say ranks, kick it off for them. They squeeze off music.
We say love and truth make the system fail. Love confusion, I put we brain in a jail. Invisible shackles and chain can't build. So me sharpen me blade and cut the jog and tail. Politicians them play with just like a game. X amount that child, but it's all the same. Hollywood sacrifice for the price of fame. Obsession with celebrity, I keep my lead, we are try. Lock up Rasta, but CIA provide cocaine. Manipulate the mind to make it love pain. Them I go on with Lucifer and make it rain. Wise people keep saying, hey, people stand up, mash up the empire. Must be a lie, say the devil is a liar. People wake up, mash up the empire. Walk through the fire, seek freedom, get higher. People rise up, mash up the empire. Revolutionary mind never tired. People light up, mash up the empire.
Hey, bangs and ranks, play music for them, my people.
Mash up the empire. Mash up the empire. Yeah, make darkness retire. Society make black man bleach him skin. Can't see danger but me see a shark fin. Go and try your best but can't make me like him. Just soldier and live life in a sin. No, artificial beauty too thin. Burn chemical use herbal medicine. Liquor poison crack me get charged with shiny rim. Yeah, the rich get richer. Some more people struggling. Hey, people stand up, mash up the empire. Must be a lie, say the devil is a liar. People wake up, mash up the empire. Walk through the fire, seek freedom, get higher. People rise up, mash up the empire. Revolutionary mind never tired. People light up, mash up the empire. Yeah, make darkness retire. Make darkness retire.
Bucks and runs for the mud.
I declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. Subject to other police, the use of riot control agents, which could cause risk of injury to those who remain. I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.
What's up, fam? Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back.
So the topic tonight is
drugs.
Drugs.
Like aspirin or Tylenol or
Big Farm.
Big Pharma, alternative, hallucinogens, opioids, bad reasons, good reasons, all reasons, whatever they may be.
Tyler, can we add vaccinations to that?
What? Hold on. Let me turn on my
Oh, you
headset.
mean that poison shit they put into us and then tell us we need it, but then if you don't get it, you're not allowed to go to school because you're going to get the other kids sick?
Exactly.
The fuck?
All right, so the first thing on tonight's show is Jeff Sessions' attack on marijuana. Now, nothing has actually been proposed, essentially, but the way it's sounding from the NORML website, the National Organization for Marijuana Law, or Reform for Marijuana Laws, is suggesting that they might actually go after stricter enforcement of marijuana laws, something that a lot of states have fought for legalization, and the way that Jeff Sessions is looking at it, it's going to be our government's going to come down a little harder, like it was towards like when marijuana was essentially legalized for medical purposes. It looks like it might be going back to where the DEA is kind of coming rig shit again.
Woohoo!
I think a lot of it is moving to really a states' rights. And yeah, they'd like to push real hard on it, but it's got such little support within the state that they may end up backing off of it in the end. 70% of Americans, I think it is now, support marijuana legislation. So, there is no support in the people, there's no support in the state government, there's just the agencies that have been making money off of rave are interested in continuing on this drug war.
Yeah, and I was even going to go into that, if you trace back the origins on the war on drugs and where it actually comes into play, the arguments are completely invalid, even when it comes down to the scheduling of drugs. It's almost like they don't even know what they're even talking about. They don't back up anything by any factual evidence. You find drugs that are constantly in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 all over the fucking place. They don't really know what they're doing or talking about.
yeah, most of the time they have no clue as to what they're discussing when it comes to drugs.
Well, especially when it comes down to marijuana, CBD oil they illegalized. They moved it down to a Schedule 1, and it's really good. A really good cure for grand mal seizures for kids. It's much safer than putting them on phenobarbital and anticonvulsants, especially. Yeah, and they made that a Schedule 1. It's also a good, smoking weed is a good natural cure for Parkinson's, for the tremors. Instead of putting them on high doses of levodopa, and I've even seen some patients where you get them on such high a dose that they start hallucinating.
And it's something we need to look at. Any time that these guys make these statements, it's like everything else. You gotta follow the money. And the pharmaceutical industry, along with the cotton industry, fossil fuels, when it comes to cannabis, it does so much that a lot of these big establishment industries are extremely scared of it. Now, the moment that you don't have to go to the store to buy whatever pills they're selling you, they quit making money, and that really scares them. So always look at who, Sessions especially. It's not like he doesn't have all sorts of people's or his hands in all sorts of people's pockets. So,
yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that the billionaire establishment would like to make harder.
Oh,
marijuana.
even
They
the
want
weird part
harder
about that is
everything.
that when all these big contracts for the medical marijuana were coming out, Monsanto's wanted in. Believe it or not.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of these giant companies will try to get in it to begin with, right? In the same way that they were, 100% against prohibition until they could invest in alcohol. I mean, in some cases they were doing both, which is about the same here too. When it comes to the DEA and other, I mean, these are massive drug dealing organizations that are supposed to be, fighting the war on drugs. It's insanity.
Oh yeah, even the enforcement on the war on drugs. I'm on a DEA watch list because of some stuff I had done in the past. They actually don't know what they're doing. There's a drug on the Schedule 1 list. It's called ibogaine. You guys can look into it anywhere on the internet. It is a good detox med for heroin addicts. In fact, the studies were shown that most people who had detox with ibogaine essentially didn't want to use heroin again.
Another one is that buprenorphine. Buprenorphine's been big right now. I've been hearing that's coming up drug to like combat the withdrawals and the drug addiction of heroin also.
But the problem with the buprenorphine is that you're essentially it's basically Suboxone, and it's the same. It acts on the same receptor as heroin.
You still get addicted to it.
Yeah, it's both an agonist and an antagonist. It's got a little bit of naltrexone in there and buprenorphine in there.
Right, more or less just a Band-Aid.
And there's also they've also been using naltrexone for post cravings and for alcohol cravings. But essentially, if you've ever been on a naltrexone treatment, which is a really bad solution for the medical community, it makes you feel like shit. It's bad on your liver, and there's been some long-term studies that suppressing your endorphin receptors for that long period of time could actually be damaging to the brain.
Right. Yeah, you find it very difficult to be happy once you're off of it for years. You could be off of it for many, many years and still be struggling with depression. You could be still struggling with just enjoying life in general. Long-term abuse, it takes away your dopamine. Your ability just to be happy. I mean, I've never really done that myself. I'm kind of speaking of something I don't necessarily know. I've read a lot about it. I got a lot of friends that have been there.
Well, yeah, I've worked on all sides of the. I think my mic is way too high.
It's about two things really: profit and control.
Pretty much, I've worked in all ends of the field before I fucked it all up, and I've worked in I've worked in the medical field, and I've worked in the recovery field, and I've been an addict myself. I don't know. It almost seems like. Damn, I forgot what I was getting at.
Well, like I don't have direct experience. I mean, as far as myself, it's one of those you're exposed to these kind of things. But I will say, look to as we start figuring out, better ways to treat some of these things, including the cannabis industry. Look to as that becomes legal, that they magically find some new drug that needs to spend billions and billions of dollars to kick in people's doors and arrest them for it. Right? So you have to look at one of the reasons that a lot of things are illegal is because, well, they need them to be to fill prison.
Well, did you see that video that I had posted that, it's almost a humanitarian crime to arrest people because they're using drugs. And the argument is that, you're arresting somebody because they're putting something into their body. And it's like a double-edged sword with addiction, because not only is it a diagnosable mental disorder, but it's also illegal. So you're
Well,
doing.
and into it, like the one thing that they're taking away from you, in that situation, is the one thing that you don't have, and that's time, right? You don't have an infinite amount of time. Even a small amount of time in prison, when you figure you only live 80 years, right, it should be considered a huge amount. Like you should really have done something shitty to have been in that situation, and not that you're already in a bad situation. So we're going to take from you the one thing that you have to give, right? If you're an addict, you don't have money. We can't take that from you. Right? You don't have a house, we can't take that from you. You don't have tax money, we
Now,
can't take
mental
that from you.
vacations are
So
illegal.
we'll take a little bit of your life. That's the only thing that you have left to give. Right? And that's something that I see in all of these situations is there's what do you take from somebody that has nothing else to give? Well, then you take a moment of time, you take a moment of their life. That's it. But back to what you're talking about, the police version of it, the whole system that's made to seek out and find drugs, well, they're gonna want to keep that system going.
Well,
It'll
here's
be
a,
replaced
do
with
you know
something else.
the actual statistics on the war
Maybe
on
even
drugs is
cigarettes.
like $40 billion a year, and now I think it's up to 60 now.
Yeah, and I could see it with the amount of places that have banned smoking and this and that. Look to a maybe there might be a world that we live in that people are kicking open your door for them Marb lights. You know what I mean?
That could happen.
Well, they will replace something else to prohibit. They always have something they need to kick open your door for and create some weird underground black market for it.
Well, have you ever? And I've argued this with several people. Is that when you've created a black market and you've legalized something, you've essentially left a market for the criminals to come in.
Oh yeah, like if you look, there's a huge amount of like slave trade and people smuggling going on between with the refugees coming out of the Middle East at the moment. And and I mean this includes boats and GPS is this whole black market system that now employs like child slavery, and they've made this entire monster for one reason and one reason only, was that they made it illegal for you to come. They come to Europe. They created a black market in the trade of refugees. It's kind of fucked up. But that didn't exist before before this happened. You see things like that coming between America and Mexico as well. You've got coyotes out there that are, slave traders, right? And the only reason they exist is because you've made being a person illegal. So people will, work in a black market that deals with people. But yeah, Sessions. Fuck him.
Yeah, he was. I was like listening to the. I was listening to RT today, and somebody was making a big fuss about him talking to the Russian ambassador prior to the election, saying that he was essentially they were trying to say he was a spy or something.
Well, it's weird. He's not in trouble. He's not in trouble for talking to the Russians, right? Like that's just stupid to say that he didn't, right? But he's like denied it, and then
he admitted it.
Possible. Like, oh no, I don't. I never talked to the Russians. Never. I guess there may have been here and there, but I didn't really talk to them all that much. It's just like a whole line of like half truths and lies trying to get around. Dude, you talk to the fucking Russians. All you had to say. You had to say, yeah, I talked to him. But he's like dug this huge hole involved with it. He doesn't remember. You don't remember talking to a room for just full of Russians? Well, then I don't think you're qualified for the job that you're applying for. Like that would have been something you should have taken note of. Is just what he's Department of Justice, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I would think just in general you should be like aware of your surroundings enough that you would be like, hey, you know what? That room full of people that we talked to, I think they may have been Russian. You could tell from the heavy Russian accents and all the Russian flags on the table.
He was the Russian hacker.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's what it is. Like, I don't know what they're talking about with the Russian hacking thing, right? Like, the Podesta emails, well, look, Podesta leaked those. So that doesn't really count as a Russian hack. I think like they're confusing sending out a bunch of memes on Facebook as somehow hacking. I don't think they know how hacking works. Like I'm missing the actual hacked part. Like the shit that was leaked, someone gave that to you. It wasn't like nobody hacked into to your mainframe and your illegal computer, right? Somebody could have, but nobody hacked in and stole the emails. The dude gave them to him. Or wiki you're uploaded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just think that it's crazy that our entire like political system can be that our government agrees that our entire political system can be undermined by a couple of emails.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest security week ever. The whole government fell over 2 emails.
Yeah, look, I hope you never have to go up against any real fucking hackers. Like that's just crazy.
Rumor has it on the street that the DNC are they had almost no security.
Oh, I completely believe that. Like when you get the story, she needed to. What Hillary Clinton had everybody like collect up their cell phones and smash them, because yeah, that's how the internet works.
Watch, it was a kid with a brute force generator.
Yeah, it just made no sense. What is it? Walmart made a statement once that no anonymous members are allowed to come into Walmart. They do realize
I walked around with my mask on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do
time.
realize the mask comes off, right? Like we don't wear it 24/7. Right? I don't. Maybe some of you guys do, but I don't like sleep in my mask, just waiting. I like a normal person. I have it like come down slowly in one of those little Batman cases.
You should have seen them on Halloween. I was walking around with my mask all over that bitch, and they're just like, what is this guy doing? It's like, what? Everybody else has masks on. Why am I being the one looked at right now? It's always me. Because we are cyber terrorists, I guess. That's what they say.
Yeah, but just because they're the ones that get to name stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Nobody knows.
They name people eco-terrorists. So the people defending the planet are eco-terrorists, not the people.
Right.
If you would,
I want to save whales. Okay, I'm a terrorist. I want to save whales today.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit. But they get to name stuff, so they name it poorly like that. You know, when they talk about like technology or internet terrorists, they're normally talking about someone that's releasing information that they would like to keep hidden about their illegal activities. That doesn't sound like terrorism to me.
I think they label anything that they're afraid of.
Oh yeah, come on, look at
anything that.
Listen to the Patriot Act. That's like the most unpatriotic piece of paper known to man, right?
God.
We named it the Patriot
Fucking
Act.
joke.
Only because the Awesome Act was already taken. You want to be awesome, don't you? Come on,
so awesome.
Senator Nutsack. You want to be awesome, don't you? Sign the Awesome Act. What does that do? Well, that means we put a camera in everybody's house.
They're already doing that with the Xbox. Watch out for that little fucker.
Yeah, won't that be awesome? Yeah, but it is one of those things, right? That our opponents are extremely uninspired, right? You know, they'll spend millions of dollars to be able to put a camera in everybody's house, only to be undone with like your dollar store piece of Scotch tape. You spent $1 billion, you've been undone by a piece of tape.
Remember Trapwire? The facial recognition stuff that they were trying to hook into the CCTV cameras?
Mm.
No, look it up.
No, I'm not. That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I haven't even been around Anonymous that long, and I still saw the videos.
Well, we were all supposed to wear the like scrambler masks, and I rock my hood, I guess, if I'm gonna do something crazy. But I don't know. I figure when I'm like 90, I'll write the Freedom of Information and get all the pictures of me being naughty and like young. Look, there I am, flicking off the camera again. I was so young once. Fuck the system.
I hear somebody laughing really hard.
Yeah, I'm giggling over here. This whole conversation's hilarious. Fuck the system.
So what was
Fuck
our
the
other...
government. Fuck them and their fucking pockets lined with gold on our fucking blood. Fuck all that shit. I don't pay bills. I don't do any of that. It's against
Oh,
my religion.
I have to pay them, but I'm not happy about it. You think they're
No,
pissed
fuck
off?
that. I will not comply.
Like when we say free healthcare, right? They're already upset. Wait till they find out about our plans for free internet.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
that was another thing that we were going to talk about
Even
tonight.
better,
Was
wait till they
medical
find out
industry.
our plans for free electricity. They are gonna be so mad. Oh. Like they've only heard about just a little bit. What, free healthcare? That's insane. Just wait. You haven't even scratched the surface. I may want to give away free housing and food as well. What was the next on the list?
So it was the medical industry, and I have witnessed this personally, and when you go in the medical industry, it's always for profit, and especially like when you're you got some really like bad conditions, especially like cancer. Most people end up filing bankruptcy. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you want to live, you got to have money. And a lot of insurance companies will start dropping you off, and that was a problem with this covered care. And then it was Romney Care and Obamacare, and they were almost the same fucking thing. And the only thing that they were backing up was the insurance companies. What we need to do is probably medical care should be free. And I'm not joking.
Isn't that how Canada does it, right? Canada has the free medical care or something like that.
Well, it's not only that, like I've had friends die because they needed transplants. And it wasn't like for like a major organ, it was like for a fucking kidney.
Right. Meanwhile, Rothschild has the world record right now for most heart transplants.
Oh yeah.
He's 101 years old.
Doesn't Dick Cheney? Doesn't he went through like 4 or 5 children's hearts by now?
Fucking guys.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, these industries that, when you take, war in the medical industry, right? When you take industries that make their money off of death or dying, right? They know that a person will pay anything to save their child. So, the plan is to keep your kid, always sick so that you're always struggling to keep them alive. If you just fix it all at once, well, then you don't make any money off of it. Exactly. Right? So, the industry itself is kind of set up to be backwards like that. There isn't. We'll spend an unlimited amount. Like, do these companies have the cure for cancer? Yeah, most likely. It seems like there's a million ways to cure it. We're just not interested in them. Now, when you take like the NSA supercomputer, right? The proteins that we need to figure out the cures for cancer, those could be done in seconds using that computer. But instead, we use it to listen to everybody's emails and phone calls. Right? So, they have no interest if we put the kind of, you're telling me in a week we can come up with a cure for the Ebola virus, right? But we're at 150, 200 years of fighting with cancer.
It was 90 days, they came up with a cure.
Yeah, come on. 200 years down the line and we're still, gosh, we just can't figure it out. Broke the atom, but this fucking cancer thing just can't figure it out.
There's been a lot of people that have said that they had a cure for cancer and they mysteriously end up dead.
And that's the deal. Like, I don't know if they do, but they totally could, right? You know what I mean? There's nothing that's stopping them from having the cure except for themselves. But when you look at how much they spend in advertising and compared to how much they spend in research and development, you should spend way more in research and development. But there's no long-term monetary value in curing a disease. At least not to them. Personally,
if they do have a cure, there's no profit in it.
Yeah, exactly. But look, this money system eventually is going to go away. Seashells were worth a lot back in the day. They're not anymore, right? And these people don't understand is that you would become an icon. They'd remember your name for the next 200 years, if not longer. for curing cancer and just giving it away. But, you know, if you slowly let it out to us and, you know, the medical industry does it in their own time, you'll be lost in all of the other names. But if these people were as, you know, egotistical as you would think, then you would want to cure cancer. Even if you were a complete jackass, they'd build hospitals and moral murals and talk about you for the next 1,000 years. But instead, they'll beat us dry.
Yeah, and their cure for cancer, the oncology, their medications that they do is intense chemotherapy, and the point is to disrupt
And I mean, I
cancerous
think we've
growth.
already.
It's a backward slope. It either works or it doesn't, and it also destroys normal cells at the same time.
Oh, but it is extremely expensive, which is what their favorite part is.
Oh yeah, like one dose of chemotherapy is like $20,000.
Yeah, and the deal is you'll pay anything to live. You know, you'll do anything to live. So they kind of have us. We have to. I mean, to our benefit, eventually we'll be able to cure cancer on your smartphone. You know, like.
Haven't y'all heard of Royal Rife?
Moore's law works to our benefit.
Is he that Australian guy that came up with that cure?
He does stuff with frequencies. He's passed away now, but yeah, he grew cancer and shrunk it using frequency, using vibration.
Is he the guy who came up with the circulation machine and it zapped the blood with a charge as it went through the filtration machine?
He did the electron microscope.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of theories about that. You know, I mean, honestly, it's like a good theory, but I'm not sure if it could get rid of what he was trying to do.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing. There's got to be an actual investment in it. And I mean, I'm not putting it 100% on the doctors, but the system that they belong to. But like I was saying earlier, Moore's law will eventually undo that. And that, yeah, right now the supercomputer at NASA is working to do that, but within a small amount of time, I'll have that much processing power in my home computer, in my tablet. And once I have that kind of power, you'll be able to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do as far as breaking, code, dealing with cancer. You'll be able to cure it with or without them. And I think that's going to be quite powerful in our fight in the future. Just undoing it. Look, if you don't want to look into it, we will.
Well, I always feel like the cures, like I was telling you before when we didn't air, is that the medicines that we need are all around us. We just haven't found all of them yet. And some of them might be completely natural, just as like eating a plant.
Sure. It's kind of and there's plants that that may have been able to cure cancer that we've now cut down or burnt down into nothing.
There's been some
back and be like, oh yeah, we totally fucked ourselves. It was right there in the Amazon, but we were too busy chopping it down.
Yeah, there was like some guy in Australia, and he found out that I guess this berry, they've isolated its alkaloid, and it's showing some promising signs to actually shrink cancerous tumors to the point where they just disappear.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I just wasn't quite sure if I'd connected. I hadn't said anything yet during the show. That berry, in fact, actually grows right next to where I live.
So you've heard about the studies too, and I saw the videos of his patients.
Far North Queensland, it's from.
Yeah, and wasn't he like against patenting it?
Correct. Yeah. Look, a lot of the people there are many people in Australia that are trying to get off the grid. A lot of hippies from the old days. They understand and respect drug culture. Not in the sense of recklessness. In the sense of experiencing various different hallucinogens and all that type of thing. I believe it would be that kind of mentality person that's involved in it. I can find out more, but I had seen actual articles, local articles, because I live in Kansas, and it literally grows here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's with most of them. You're always kind of under the impression if any of those things did cure cancer, they would 100% try to suppress it. So,
well, the guy, he didn't want the isolated chemical to become patent so that he could injure. I think that was his point. That's why.
Yeah, and he would have been contacted by medical industry already, because I should point out that here in Australia, they are right on the bandwagon with getting on board with the profit side of the medical cannabis, for example, now. They're rolling it out all across the country, allowing people to grow for the medical purpose, but they will be making all profit. And I just think it's very hypocritical since, marijuana has been suppressed for so many years, and it all started with the cotton industry because of, hemp as a fiber and the value that possessed. Like, I mean, that literally could have been a game changer. And these greedy people spread lies about a very healthy plant just so that they could make their own profit off an inferior product, which is cotton.
Yeah, that's the deal. And I mean, it's an inferior product. It's not only in the fibers that you're making as far as clothing and all of that, but just the amount of things that you can make from it, from hempcrete, plastics, that whole industry.
Housing material and everything.
Yeah,
look, I have a skirt. I got it off my grandmother when I was 8 years old. It is still in perfect condition. There is nothing wrong. Like, that's amazing. I'm 32 years of age.
And it doesn't destroy the land on the way out, right? Cotton wrecks the place. It sucks all the nutrients out. You have to rotate, you know what I mean, where you plant it because it destroys the place. And hemp doesn't do any of that. It really is going to kind of be one of the things that runs the future. But right now, it's a hard sell to in the U.S.
Is anyone familiar with green meds?
Are you talking about edibles?
Like herbal?
Natural. It's a company that distributes it. And the research shows that green meds, some of their products, have been known to cure several diseases besides cancer. But it's been blacked out because, again, Big Farm doesn't want anyone to know about it.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the only plant they do this with. I know there's some like sugar substitutes that are suppressed kind of worldwide. There's a plant in South America. I think one of you guys had mentioned it before too. Yeah, and I mean it grounds up just like sugar, tastes just like sugar. You can bake it with all the work, but yeah, it just doesn't cause all of the health problems, right? It doesn't give you diabetes.
Our body can actually break it down.
Did you know cannabis is also, they've been also doing some studies on it that is a natural regulator for diabetes patients on their sugar regulation.
Yeah, it actually increases your metabolism, cannabis too. So it's funny, you see all these crazy weight loss, this and that's out there, but I can tell you it's one of the best things if you want to trim down too.
Well, not only that, it's like
smoke a bowl, eat a bunch of food, stay skinny.
If you have a disorder that requires you to take narcotic pain medication, it is a very good alternative.
Yeah, and for anxiety as well, for all those smokers out there too. I mean, look, I know a lot of people do mix a little bit of tobacco with marijuana, but like stress and anxiety, I suffer from a little bit of post-traumatic stress.
It's one of those. Did we lose her?
You're cutting out there.
We've said too much.
They're on to us.
Son of a bitch.
Get her.
Busted.
In cannabis,
we brought herbal medication into it. They're cutting us off.
Cannabis isn't the only thing that I've caught on to, and I was talking about this before the show. Patients that have cluster headaches to the point where they have to be hospitalized and possibly have surgical implants. Natural cure, guys, and I'm very, very predominant about this. Low dose psilocybin. Once every 3 months for those guys, for the people that have repetitive cluster headaches to the point where they have to be hospitalized, is a good natural cure. And, believe it or not, for migraines, the precursor to LSD, ergotamine, is great for migraines.
Yeah, I know there's been quite a few studies done recently with just that whole set in psychohallucinogens and all of that, and dealing with depression and headaches. There's just a bunch of things that we haven't bothered to research, and we're just now getting around to doing it. Like we're probably going to find out a lot of things in those industries. Just the fact that people are willing to look into them now, and before you were kind of forbidden to.
A lot of research gets buried, and that's got to stop. I mean, come on. I mean, it's kind of sad because millions of people are dying because they can't get these simple, easy cures that are available to them, and they don't cost $1,000 for one pill.
Oh yeah, you can go pick some mushrooms for free, man.
Exactly.
the more important it is, the more expensive it is. We've made human life worthless, but then we've made to live really, really expensive.
I mean, how many of you guys, especially when it comes to like, saving your life and when it comes to the medical costs, have you ever like walked out of a hospital? You got hit by a car, wherever, and you get out of the hospital and you're left with this like fucking $50,000 bill.
Oh yeah, I've under the fuck up policy.
Oh,
There's been
yeah.
a couple of times where I went in and yeah, whatever, fuck you. I'm not gonna pay it.
It's almost like ridiculous. It's like, and I used to work in the medical industry, and here's the thing, when you get a pill in the hospital, and I'm just going to use, acetaminophen as an example. That pharmacy in the hospital usually gets them to anywhere between 3 cents to 5 cents, right? And they're based on grades. Usually they're about mid-grade. And by the time you get it, they've already charged you $5 to $10.
It's good. Yeah, I don't get my medications from a pharmacy.
And there was another life-saving medication that was out there, and a lot of doctors were making do-it-yourself kits. A lot of activists, and the EpiPen. Do you remember that from Mylan?
Oh yeah, where they were charging just crazy amounts for an EpiPen, like a couple grand.
Yeah, for a life-saving medication. Your kid is allergic to peanuts or chocolate, and
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, it's the most important thing to you, so they're going to charge you. You'll pay anything, so they're going to charge you the max that anything is.
Oh yeah, they
It's
maxed it
wholesale
out.
profiteering.
Well, it's the same as when you go to the grocery store, right? There's what are the things that they keep behind the glass case? Alcohol? No, alcohol's right in the front. But, right, baby formula's behind that glass case. Why? Because you will do anything to feed your kid. Blind. Normally you'd be a good person, but you'd rob that place blind for the baby formula. That I'm talking about medical stuff that your kid can't process normal milk and all of that. Yeah, you'd murder everybody in that fucking place to get that milk. So I mean, they make the things that are most important to you are always the most expensive.
How many of you guys have traveled abroad? I mean, outside of the U.S. and got sick?
Negative.
Well,
I've been to Canada and Mexico, but I never got
Only in my ear normal.
Well, I was gonna say, in other countries, you get sick, you don't need a prescription.
Oh, not at all. Vietnam, right? Thailand, most of Europe. Like you just walk into the doctor, right? They treat you, because they're done with your neck. There isn't even, you need a permanent, like, state-run thing. The actual communist countries, your doctor wrote it, you went and got it, but you didn't pay for any of it. Vietnam had both, like, Western and Chinese medicine, so did Cambodia. But, like, the Chinese have invested a lot into other medical facilities. That's like a good way of them to get into the country. We send bombs, they build hospitals, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, if we send bombs, they have to build hospitals.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Sometimes they're too nice of hospitals, and we just get like a twofer.
Somebody's having.
But now going overseas is always a real eye. Even New Zealand, Australia, in comparison. Like I went and got my teeth done, and to get my molar removed, right, to get my tooth removed, I think it was like $250, something like that. And that was like the surgery and the medication afterward and the works. $200. I was like shaking people's hands like they had done a favor, right? Could you imagine going into the dentist and paying $200? Fucking for $200 in the States.
Right.
It's really sad because, even doctors, they're more focused on getting rich than, following their oath. I mean, what the hell happened? Somewhere along the lines, people don't matter anymore.
Well, it's I know actually a lot of doctors, okay, and it's kind of like 50-50, and we're also dealing with this other thing going on right now. where doctors are afraid to write prescriptions for certain things because they're afraid of losing their license. It's kind of split 50-50. Some doctors are more about tests and unnecessary tests that are and just to get another buck, and then you got your doctors out there who are really in it for to help people. So it's kind of split, you know.
Those are the doctors driving the Subaru.
Have a hard road. I do agree that it's kind of, there is a greed factor that's involved with a lot of these guys. But then, the ones that do want to do the right thing, you're up against the other doctors and the industry. The industry isn't set up to help good doctors, right? It's set up to help the people that'll sell the pills that they tell you to. So that does cause...
One thing, sorry, I would just point out is that some of these alternate medicine doctors, I keep hearing, I'm not a paranoid person, I just keep hearing about various different doctors that are toting alternative methods. They go missing. They get bumped off, basically. I don't know if that's worth discussing, but, I find that odd. I've heard about it over the course of the last, 5 or 10 years, these doctors.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely, just statistically, when you look at it, there's not that many, scientists in one industry that constantly bite it. And that's one of them. When it comes to the medical industry, even when it came to like age research and, people, coming out and saying, oh, it was, this is obviously man-made and this and that and the other, those guys all end up dying.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very cutthroat, almost like the oil industry. It's like, obviously because there's so much money riding it and very powerful people that are making money off the blood and misery of others, it sounds, that, there is violent attack on anybody that would oppose them with alternate methods.
And if you look at it, if these people are willing to invade another country and kill millions and millions of people, it's crazy to think that they wouldn't kill you. You know what I mean? It's just a single person.
Exactly.
Right? Like they're, an industry that's willing to let millions of people die for one reason or another, right? It's not that much of a stretch that they would, have the time to murder you. Like it's not, it's by no means a hard thing for them to do. That happens to all of our leaders, right? So, whether you count it, Che Guevara, Malcolm X, right? MLK, JFK, if they could get a hold of Julian Assange, they'd put a hole right through fucking him, right? There's plenty of leaders that pop up and they always end up with a hole in them for one reason or another. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying they do end up with a hole in them.
Well, look at Gary Webb, man. That dude shot himself in the head twice.
Yeah.
From the back of the head. From the back of the head.
What was it? The madame from DC, right? The DC madam. Yeah, she shot herself a couple of times and then beat herself up and hung herself on the way out. So no, they've been caught doing such absolutely horrible things. You're hard up not to believe it's not really a conspiracy theory at that point.
Yeah, it's obvious that, human life is definitely not high priority, but, to the elite people of our world, I guess you could say. It's probably the best way to put it, amongst all these oil executives and big pharma executives and, people that have some serious resources to do something. Where are they? Who are these people that can just sit by and,
some of them manipulate people? Some of them are working for the Trump administration now, but it was one of those. It's not with the same industry, but the people that are responsible for the tanking of the U.S. economy, right, are now all working for the Trump administration. It's completely insane. It's completely insane, and that's with all. If you want to know who the owners of the pharmaceutical companies are, well, they pretty much do a revolving door in and out of Congress and lobbyists.
Oh yeah, Pfizer. Abbott.
It's crazy in some. It seems crazy, right? When you when you try to explain
GlaxoSmithKline,
I feel like a crazy person saying it but it's that true.
Who's got the patent on the new HIV cocktail medication? That guy's. I don't know. That company's. I'm not. I don't know. I've had a lot of bad shit to say.
Yeah.
They've risen and jacked the price on HIV medications.
Started HIV anyways. Bear Pharmaceutical.
Oh, are you talking about with that Martin Scarelli guy?
No, that's a different case. But
Okay.
yeah. No, yeah. Martin Scarelli is a. Yeah, he was an asshole. There was this old medication from the shit. It was like from the 50s. And he there wasn't a patent on it. Somehow he managed to repatent it because they had made it a different way. And then what was normally a $70 medication for HIV patients then jumped up to $700. Did he? I think he went to court too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was completely insane. And it was another one of those medications that you had to live. This motherfucker had his own helicopter. His own helicopter. When you do something like that to the people, I should get to throw you out of the helicopter.
Well, it's a human right. It's a human rights to me. You know, it's a human rights violation.
But he got karma of some sort, didn't he? I'm sorry, my memory's failing me, but I heard that he had some sort of up and coming for that.
So I hope he gets something like horrible to die of. But no, I know that
like AIDS.
I know that we took back their album from him. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just, and that was part of the population I was working with in the addiction field. So whenever this stuff would pop off, I would always know about it.
When I was in prison in Texas, we had to give classes to all the new people coming in about all the diseases and how easy it is to pick them up while you're locked up, man. Hepatitis, AIDS. I mean, it's like a 3 to 4 hour.
Oh. Yeah, that company that invented that new cure, it's not the interferon. It's the new medication for the Hep B. They wanted $90,000 for, I believe, to cure yourself of hepatitis C. And but here's the thing: there was another that was just the guy who had the patent on the medication in the U.S., right, or the company. Now in India, you can get the same fucking pill. You can get the 6-week treatment or the 9-week, 12. It's like 6-week treatment for $800.
Wow.
Yep.
Insane, man.
And the company was sued multiple times.
Oh, and sometimes, I mean, these companies will get sued, and it's like, okay, I make $1 billion a year, and they're making me pay a $200,000 fine. Like, the fines don't by any way, shape, or form affect some of these companies. The like fracking and oil companies are great with that. Like, oh well, if you spill this much oil, you have to pay a fine. But the fine's such a drop in the bucket, it doesn't matter.
You're right.
Like, okay,
yeah, it's cheaper to just pay the fine than it is to clean it up. So that's what they do. That's really that's when we have a problem.
Well, in the Gulf of Mexico, first they acted like they were going to clean it up, but didn't they end up charging the taxpayer for the cleanup in the end? So like we paid them.
Yeah, there was all kind of fucked up shit with that.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare for every state involved down here.
Oh, for the world, like that it's like the Gulf of Mexico is a dead zone now. The whole thing, it's wrecked.
Yeah, they say it's clean now. Oh, hell, it was probably about 3 years ago now. I was down in Ocean Springs on the coast of Mississippi, probably about 30 miles or so from the Alabama border. And, this is one of the cities that they were claiming on the news was super clean and everything. And, this is like 4 years after the spill. And, like, I'm down on the beach, and it's like there's literally oil washed up on the beach. And I'm like, fucking clean? What part of this is clean?
Oh yeah, there's an oil pipeline that was leaking just about 150 miles north of Standing Rock, and like we took the pictures of it leaking and all of that, and they said, oh yeah, now that we found it, we're gonna go and clean it up. And then like 2 days later, they came out with a statement saying, yeah, they sealed the pipe and cleaned it up, and it's still no shit. It's just leaking into the water. Like they didn't even attempt to clean it up. They just made a statement saying, yeah, we did it.
Oh yeah, that thing leaked for fucking like probably like 14, 16 days, something like that, before they finally got it plugged up.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, they were literally having to come up with new ideas on the spot. Like, let's invent this and put it in the hole and see if that stops it.
I think we got to stop using oil. It's no good for us.
Most definitely.
It's the bad
It's been outdated for,
Yes.
20 years
The
now.
whole world has to stop it. We can't keep using oil. It's ridiculous. We're making these people richer and we're destroying the earth, and we have all the technology to fix it.
Yeah, like in some cases, they were always able to tell us, oh, well, the technology doesn't exist yet. And like now, that's bullshit, right? The technology exists. Yep. We can do it. People need jobs. Like, we're ready. It's just them. It's saying,
don't worry about the jobs now. They got the Bayou Bridge pipeline coming up, and that thing's going to create a whopping 11 permanent jobs. So don't you worry about those jobs. They got that covered.
Yeah. And the difference to upgrade our entire system, you know what I mean, to solar and wind or whatever, it seems you can get power from anywhere, right?
I could do it for the price of the pipeline.
Oh, come on, we could do anything for the price of the pipeline.
I could do the whole world for the price of the pipeline.
Yeah, like we have the ability to do it at this point. We're just not doing it because, well, the oil companies said no. And I'm not big on listening to them.
Yeah, and they run the world. Apparently, these people, they run. I mean, look at Standing Rock. I mean, it's a perfect example. It's just look. You've got people standing up for what's right, and you've got greedy, wealthy corporations steamrolling them for a project that is outdated and doesn't work anymore for humanity. So, I just hope that this is the start of people just really keeping on fighting back against this, this oil crap. It's not relevant anymore.
I just read an article. A guy went to jail because he had a wind turbine on his property. I mean, that's really sad.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like it's the weirdest thing because people are building them anyway. And I mean, even though look, Texas is our biggest solar and wind producer at the very moment. Come on, guys, you should never be less progressive than Texas. If they can see it, it's damn near fucking obvious by this point, right? And that's a state that's ran on oil, but we have to demand it as well. Like when you have the chance to buy it, we have to buy it. We have to demand it. We have to make it trendy. We have to do all of those things. They've made oil really, really trendy, right? They've made us believe that we can't live without it.
And we got enough of it to last like 400 plus years, 500 years.
Yeah, keep it that number keeps on getting, bigger and bigger and bigger. They'll tell us, oh, we've only got 200 years worth of oil left, 300 years. And I don't care if we got 1,000 years of oil left. Leave it the fuck alone. It's fine down there. Let it do its own thing.
We have a lot less breathable air. That's certain.
Yeah. It seems like we've got heaps of oil and not enough breathable air and drinkable water, which are two things I would be doing, and that's drinking clean water and breathing. God, at this point, let's go with relatively clean air.
Yeah, you would think that they would be important at the top of somebody's priority list.
I don't understand what they're thinking. I mean, in our parliament, they're still trying to tote coal. I mean, coal. Australia is all about coal because it makes us money. So we're trying to tell the world, oh, yeah, coal's fine. Let's just keep doing that. That's like the worst. That's another terrible thing for the environment. But our politicians are like, there's no such thing as global warming. Keep buying our coal, And I don't know, I just hope people start thinking.
That's one thing Trump's trying to do down here is rebirth the coal industry, and he's relaxed regulations to allow them to dump their waste into water because having to properly dispose of their waste hurts the coal industry, and so if we allow them to dump into the water, then that'll create more coal miner jobs. And even out of work coal miners are like, what the fuck, dude, this is bullshit.
Well, and we've had a whole generation between when, honestly, right? If these guys, if the 1% had their own way, we'd all be working to death in the mines, right? That's their thing. So that's not really a surprise to me, right? And then, second of all, we've had a whole generation between when coal mining was at its peak and now. Enough that the old timers that would have told you, fuck no, man, the reason that I was working there was so that you could go to college and not work in a coal mine. Right, those guys have slowly but surely died off. So we've got like this watered down, idealistic version of what working yourself to the death in the bottom of a hole was like. Right? And our government tries to tout that as that was a good thing. We need to bring back coal. What the fuck are you talking about? Coal mining jobs sucked.
Yeah, we need more lung cancer and mesothelioma and all these breathing problems that come from mining coal. We need all these other health issues that come from mining coal. That's making America great again, I do believe.
The byproducts of some of the existing energy sources are pretty scary.
That you see in the pictures. Run, guys, run!
I love everybody goes.
I miss the days of seeing on the news, 40 miners trapped in collapsed mines. That was, man, those were the heydays of America right there. That was when we were truly great.
Oh, that happens here.
Like ran by the coal mines, like used up the communities, like used up all of the money, and then packed their shit up and left them to rot, right? And it seems like nobody remembers that. Like the coal mining industry was not our friend.
Agreed.
Most definitely. Some of the, just look at the stripped out land left behind.
Like when they were done, they didn't make it seem like these people were somehow our friends, and no, they spent all of their time working us to death. Think of that like picture of the coal to be put up and down. Like we already saw what happens when they run the world. It sucked.
Is that Loki on the call too?
That is. Kenyon wants to come on. He's kind of pushing for it. We can cut him if it gets improper, right?
If it gets out of control,
we can cut him, right?
Let him in.
All right. I'll send him the link. Shoot the link, Tyler, to the group chat.
This should be interesting.
We've been having some good talks, but he's a funny fucker, so it's hard to tell. Shoot me a link to the chat, and I'll put him in here.
No.
Did I just hear no?
I was teasing, man. Being sarcastic.
But yeah, about the coal mines, just go Google images, all these like empty coal mines, these stripped out pieces of land where they've just completely annihilated it. It looks like a fucking wasteland, like you'd see in some crazy post-apocalyptic movie or some shit.
When I was younger, I went on a field trip.
We were really doing it. They kind of walk away from that, and they just keep on. But like I said, it's part of their whole condition. Like that is the perfect job as far as the learn, right? You'll work yourself to death in the bottom of a hole to make money, right? As far as ability to even own what you're working for, right? That's like the perfect. The 1% is considered labor. That's the holy grail for them. Not a big fan of coal. You put clean in front of it, so it's nowhere near as bad.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of any of this, primitive energy technology. We got
to get past burning shit. Right?
We should have been past this before I was born. Like I should never even have to know what this issue is, and I'm fucking 30 years old, man.
Yeah, we've only figured out how to use energy in two ways, right? We either can we can burn it or we can boil it, and that's it. Even like cracking the atom, right? When you think of like nuclear power plants, what do they actually do? Well, they boil water and move giant. Boil water? You have the infinite power of the fucking. All you did was boil water with it. Fucking epic.
Alternative solutions have been around for almost 2 decades now, yet we sit here choking on the air, getting sick from the water. It's kind of
every grain factory in the world there for like the first 3,000, 4,000 years ran by the wind, right? Those giant windmills. We were using water, we were using hydroelectric power. All of the, the wheelhouses and stuff that you see, like we knew that energy was there. It's just this last 200 years have been really hard on us. We really like have bought into it.
De-evolution, if you ask me.
Yeah,
we're literally regressing in our intelligence and evolutionary processes in a lot of things.
Yeah, I think we'll look back and just feel like, God, you guys were really spinning your tires there. All right, what do we got left? What do we have left on the list? We kind of went over sessions, pharmaceutical. We're gonna do the what, $50 billion for the military budget increase.
Oh yeah, I actually was trolling Rupley, and I kept on like I was afraid I was gonna get my account banned because I kept on like telling people like how can you promote peace if you're building war machines that are gonna kill people?
Oh yeah, well, we're at what, $6 trillion, $7 trillion between the Middle East, what, clusterfuck? I don't even know what it's called anymore. What war we're considering it, but where we spend trillions and trillions of dollars.
It's the never-ending war. It's the war on terror. Something you can never beat.
An extra $50 billion. Like what is that extra? If you couldn't do it, what's the extra $50 billion gonna do? No other job would somebody fuck up that bad and then be like, you know what's going to do this? One more bomb. You've been bombing for 50. No, I swear, Mr. President, if you just one more bomb will do it. Push it right over to democracy. That's in Bibles.
You know, with that money, you know, with that money that they're spending, you know how many homeless vets we have here in, stateside. Like, with that money that, they could afford housing for each and every one of those vets that are homeless right now.
They don't care about military people unless they're active duty, doing their bidding.
Even then, when you figure the whole war, $6 trillion, there's literally nothing we could not fix for $6 trillion. Like, look, everybody gets a Ferrari, right? That's the kind of money that we're talking about for $6 trillion. Like, it's such an unfathomable, amount of money. You could buy. We could have paid for everything. Whether it was housing, whether it was fixing our schools, our streets. It really wouldn't matter, right? $6 trillion can fix up just about anything.
It certainly could have converted us to a fully functioning resource-based economy, without a doubt. Yeah. Can't argue that one.
Now, come on. Which would you want? A resource-based economy or...
I like the bombs, man. Let's drop some bombs, man. Bombs. Oh, wait. That doesn't fix anything. That just pisses people off and makes them want to retaliate.
Yeah. Can't you carpet bombing your family? I just don't understand why that doesn't make you like me more. It's like going over to somebody's house and punching them in the face every once in a while. I don't like you.
Oh, I think it was Michael Franti that did the song. You can bomb the world to pieces, but you can't bomb it to peace.
Yeah, it's just not possible.
Oh yeah, did you ever hear the theory? And this is a really weird one, okay? And I've heard this from a couple of people. All right, when you bomb a foreign nation, each one of those people that survive, you've just created another enemy.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Blow up one of my kids, I'm certainly going to fucking hate you. I mean, that's like that should be completely.
I mean, not the other way around too. Look at these children that survive these bombings. They have their whole family wiped out, their mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparents, everything, and they're left to survive on their own. Who do you think picks these kids up?
Well, it's not just
half the time it's these militant resistance groups for one thing, but I mean, you're gonna be pissed. This country, this war, these people took everything.
I hate everything about you because you killed my family out of nowhere. Like it just seems like that's such an obvious point to be made that our governments just don't seem to understand. Like how that's not. See that kid in the picture whose entire house has been blown up, killed. You don't expect them to turn into someone that's willing to fight you. What else do they have to live for?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
we got it. Seriously, America needs to stop policing the world. Seriously.
It's not police. They say that there's like trying to make it sound positive. Like what we're doing is is keeping the streets. No, we need to stop terrorizing the world. Like we need to stop part of the world. We're not policing anybody. Nobody feels more safe with us driving up and down.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna promote democracy by blowing up all your shit.
Yeah. I mean, the least was how to blow up their shit, but I have a sneaking suspicion they'd vote against it.
Hey, Loki.
I'm here. I'm talking with Jeff.
Well, do we have any of the questions to answer tonight, or does anybody think?
Did anybody check out that fucking Canada sending their aborted fetuses over here as medical waste so Oregon could to be incinerated so Oregon could use it for power?
What?
Oh, what?
I sent a link here earlier. It looks pretty fucking legitimate. Like Canada sends a lot of their medical waste here and it gets incinerated here in Oregon.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like something they would do. The Canadians are always doing that to us. Like they'll pour heap shit in their water, which flows, but then they'll be like, "Oh, look how clean our waterways are." Well, that's because you're letting it all float downstream to us. It's not fair. Canada's way at the top. They don't give a fuck. How are they moving? How did we get set up in a contract because I need you to wasn't that what Cartman was doing in South Park? You call somebody up and be like, "Look, man, I got about 1,500 fetuses I need to get rid of." What? Like, who answers that phone call? You bring that in by truck, boat, or plane?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure by train.
Good. It's something that you probably wouldn't want to stop at customs for.
I think you want to call Carl.
500 aborted fetuses.
Yeah, Carl would take that call.
Okay, so like I got an update from Pop In last night. I think Rose can elaborate on that. But apparently that Senate bill in Arizona was postponed until next year's voting. Am I wrong?
That's what I read.
I just got on.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? Sorry.
We're talking about you. No.
I was trying to get a good connection. I'm in a brick house, so I'm like wandering around. Like, can they hear me? Shh! No, don't say that.
Change the subject, quick.
Oh my God. I'm trying to break up the sausage fest.
Who is that? Oh, well, we definitely appreciate that.
And James says, hello. Let me get a lighter. So I see that somebody in the comments had mentioned, again, I've seen this before in our threads. I just want to mention this right now about a possible pedo at Standing Rock. Now, he says he has a dox, which I'm more than willing to look over. Okay, but I've never heard about this situation. Anybody that's watching, if you have something that's brought to your attention and you want it validated or you want to find out more or spread the information, feel free to hit up the page. That's what we're here for.
By far.
Okay, wait, what was going on at Standing Rock?
Well, they mentioned that a pedo was supposedly staying at Standing Rock, but I've never heard anything about it, and I've been watching Standing Rock since July. So, I mean, I've never heard any articles about it, none of the people there.
It's BS.
I've never heard about any of that either. There was, 20,000 people that came here at one time? Like,
throughout the summer and the December time and all of that. I mean, the chances of one of those people having some sort of, you know what I mean, weird record are pretty high. But it wasn't really a situation where, yeah, like anything of that would have came to light. You know what I mean?
There was no kids there.
Yeah,
there was children. There was children, but I mean, in this kind of mass situation, how is it? We can't really keep control of who comes in and who comes out.
Yeah,
and I mean,
if your normal campground, it would be like saying, hey, there was a, you know, sometime during the summer at your local campground, there was a pedophile that came through there. Well, chances are, probably.
You can say Elvis was there. That doesn't mean it's so.
But nobody was accused. Nobody, you know, it didn't. You know, nobody was ever made aware of it. And in a place that had 20,000 people, you know, what does that mean?
yeah, and I'm gonna look over the docs and I'm gonna see what it has to say and see if there's any validation to it. I mean, there's not very much we can do in this time, especially if the person's not there anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody had known about it, if it had came up, the Akitita would have told, you know, would have kicked it. So that's not really.
Sorry,
if it
guys.
was known, you know what I mean? If it was known, then they would have had to leave. If they kept it hidden, then well, what are we supposed to do about it?
Yeah, I'm running a Kool-Aid house right now with teenagers, and my son just whispered in the background, James Phillips is a dumbass. He wants to make sure that it goes on the radio. I'm raising teenage boys, so it's loud.
And Thor Bajoran says, "Oh my God, what utter bullshit."
Now James is mad. He's getting clowned, and he can't stand up for himself now. But I wasn't able to tune in for the part about the pharmaceuticals that you were going to mention, Tyler. What was that about?
Oh, it was yeah, how Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, was going to enforce. What the hell is it?
Who's cooking? Somebody's cooking.
No, he was going to instruct.
My bad. I thought my mic was muted.
No,
what are you making? Did you make enough? It's just like at school. Did you bring enough for everybody?
I know. Are you sharing?
About it.
I'm not. Yeah. So he was going.
That's a negative.
So he was going to enforce stricter. He was going to try and enforce stricter rules on the cannabis industry, and this is something that a lot of people in the marijuana activists have fought against. So this is coming up again. He was very kind of. Yes, I told you the article, and it's popping up again and again and again. It's very vague, but still, activists, that are fighting for marijuana, and it's just something that should be looked at, and not taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Trump's already planned on doing his stuff regarding making marijuana harder for us to get, taking away the medical marijuana. He doesn't like the other states have legalized it, so he it's just a control thing. It's a mass tax that he wants to put on it.
At this point, he's not going to take it away from anybody. He's just going to push it underground and back into the black market, and the black market's going to be stronger than ever. Like this little plan that they have, I'm telling you, is not going to work. You're going to see the black market explode.
Oh yeah, especially the people that are actually using for medical purposes. And
medical reasons, yeah.
There are a lot. Okay, I don't know where people get.
Yeah, I'm hoping the prices drop on it too. I'm just saying. Well, let it go back to black market.
It's from my experience, there's a lot more people using it recreationally, but there is a big percentage of people that are using it for medical purposes. If you've ever seen somebody like with Parkinson's disease, or childlike tremors, or any of that stuff,
for sure,
it is. I would never want any of my family members to suffer like that. I'd rather just give them the marijuana so that they can live a better life.
Have we touched base tonight on OpNewBlood?
No.
OpNewBlood is on the rise again. We have.
That's funny.
We have
I was actually thinking about trying to bring a rebirth about to that. So tell me about what's going on.
Well, right now there's just a gathering of information, basically intel, ways to teach people to protect themselves when they start going on the internet, whether it's protecting your account, make sure that you have a SOC account, make sure that you're not using your real identity, protect your friends and family, how to secure your computer. We want to make sure that when people go on all the OpNewBlood pages and stuff we have, we need to utilize that for education purposes. And if we do have friends that are coming into the scene, or we know we get mass ads, or the ones that we accept the friends requests to and they're new to it, we need to refer them and be more adamant about referring them to these pages to protect themselves. It's not really protecting themselves from those on the internet, but just the whole internet in general. You know what I mean? They need to know not to click links, to be aware of what phishing is, those kind of things, because they can fall victim to the World Wide Web. So we want to basically emphasize the different options they have to protect themselves. And I mean, it's not hard for us, but if we see somebody that's struggling or somebody that's interested when we post this stuff, I want to make it to where they have a place to go to get that information safely, and it's not hacking. We're not teaching hacking, nothing like that. It's more educational. And again, you have lots of posts all over the internet. You can Google for these things, but it's more finding legitimate posts that are going to reflect exactly into the activism culture of the internet. You know what I mean? I here locally have friends that haven't protected their pages, and it poses a danger to you. It poses a danger to your family. They can find out where you live. So we want to make sure that you do safe web browsing. It's back to basics. You know what I mean? And if they want to be more involved in ops, we need to have stages created of opening up the door. Like when they start off with OpNewBlood, maybe we get them started on OpLove, where we spread unity. You know what I mean? So they know about these things. So as they're awakening and others around them are awakening, it's a slower process. So they're not just jumping right into Op Icarus. You know what I mean? So then you have your season.
That was kind of my introduction to Anonymous.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. But if you have a lot of new bloods going into new fag territory, where it's an op that's been running for a long time, or an op that's taken extremely seriously, not that OpLove wouldn't be taken seriously, it's something safer for them to start off on, where you have people with similar skills. You know what I mean? So we can start that layer. Like it's kind of like an onion.
Into Op Icarus, and these people are like. They've never done anything before, and they download the ion cannon, and they're DDoSing, government websites without even protecting their IP one little bit, not even a single layer.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's like, oh my God, you guys are going to end up in jail, and this is not a game. We're not playing Minecraft here.
Young kids that are doing it too. No, you got kids that are doing it, and that's why we have to go back to basics. Whether it be a pay spin or a page we set up or a page that's existing. I was checking it out today, and one of our fellow brothers that does the show with us has a page, OpNewBlood, and I'm thinking about trying to use that platform because it's already got the name and everything and the reach to start that. Because again, it's back to basics. Because if you've got people going in straight to DDoSing government websites and they don't have the protection, and they're using their social media accounts to advertise these things, and they've got their family on there and all this other, it's just a disaster, in my opinion. But there's a lot of work ahead. And
correct. I mean, not only do they jeopardize themselves, they jeopardize others that are in ops with them, especially when they go
exactly.
on.
Yeah, guys, and this has been a big thing that we've been talking about this for a while. Is if you guys are going to be involved in some ops, some internet ops, try and get all the communications off of Facebook and onto some secure platform.
And for God's sakes, keep it small. I mean, you don't need 200 people to run it up.
No, and that's the thing. And Facebook is not the place necessarily to run ops. If you want to get more. Yeah, and if you want to get more involved, I mean, I hate to go back to the beginning because I learned the hard way, but having a mentor or somebody that's knowledgeable, that's been around a while, if you connect with them, ask them questions safely. Again, don't ask them to hack. nothing like that, but ask and inquire, learn. It's all a learning process. You're not going to learn in one day. If you're in this for the long haul, like the rest of us, for the revolution, for change, this is the steps that you need to take, protecting your family, protecting your home, your computer. That's just the beginning. It's like an onion, like I see it. There's layers, and instead of having the new blood shift to the middle layers, we need to kind of send them straight through, to the OpNewBlood, or have ops that they can start off on. So then they learn, because we have too many new bloods coming in wanting to dox right away. You know what I mean? And it's causing a lot of issues.
They come in with both guns blazing.
Exactly. Well, and I admire that.
I love them for that. I do. But yeah, I mean, to me, the younger ones are the newer people coming in are very important to the whole movement. And yeah, you're exactly right. We have to kind of protect them from diving too deep, into the deep end and realizing, well, I can't swim, and yeah.
Well, and they're meeting huge roadblocks, whether it be trolls or older fags they've been around this activism for a long time. That when they see this, they consider it infighting. It's causing hostility, and it makes them a target. So instead of putting them through that, if we see tons of ads, I mean, maybe it takes us making a few dozen sock accounts and siphoning those people into these pages so we can pull them out, the ones that are legit, you know what I mean? We need to have a better process of what we're doing.
We need to start mentoring people more. I mean, a lot of us do that already.
Agreed. Yeah. People need guidance.
And Lowell's who's speaking was one of my original mentors. When I started this myself, 4 years ago, I had to learn from somebody. You know what I mean? How many times did I come to Lowell's with the most ridiculous questions or get myself
always available
way in too deep?
Anybody that wants to contact me and chat and talk, when I have a chat with somebody, let's be clear, it's private. No one else sees it. I don't screenshot. A lot of people do that. But it's important to have that communication. Communication is the key step to everything, because in the end, I mean, like I said earlier, it's not just your ass; it's their ass as well.
Yeah, by far.
And and Rose is phenomenal. She's grown beyond any expectation I would have. She's out there on the streets. She's behind the screen, and I'm really proud of what I see from her every day. And she's taught me a lot just in the time that, we've known each other.
And it goes back to basics. I started off with a mentor that wasn't before Lulz. I had a mentor that wasn't really what I thought he was, and you got to be careful what you tell people and who you trust, and it goes back to the OpNewBlood thing. If we have this set up to where we have people willing to mentor, and I'm not bragging, babe. He's like, don't brag about your work. If you have people that are willing to take on that initiative and help people, more the merrier. Message the page. If you want to be involved and you want to help others, and you don't want to be on the internet hitting like all day, and you want to have something meaningful, we can help you with that. There's lots of stuff going on that we could use the extra help with, whether it's being an editor on a page or whether it's learning how to help in your local community. We have tons of resources.
I'm going to say something, and this will upset a lot of people, but, it's just a fact. It's not about a mask. I mean, sure, the mask is part of it, but
I agree.
It's what you do with that information. It's, it's getting out there and supporting your brothers and sisters in these good causes. And looking for that positive change. And if you're too busy fighting over a mask, then you're going to miss the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Just the internet warrior stuff. I mean, like you'd mentioned, people, I will go and protest on the street, rain or shine. I mean, it could be 120 degrees outside, and you'll find me outside with cases of water, handing out water at protests. That's what it's about. We can do changes online, but it's on the streets that matters.
I know a couple people here in Tampa even that they talk this big talk about, they want to be active and, they organize this, but they never show up at a protest,
And that's a problem I see too.
It's sad, man. It's sad. I go, I'm looking forward to what we have coming up here locally. And, I try to be active. I really do.
You get those ghost check-ins like from people that
Unfortunately, for personal reasons, I haven't been able to hit a protest in a couple of years. And, you know, I have to take care of my family and make sure that they're safe prior, you know, over everything else.
Oh, by far.
It's not that I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. No, but well, I mean, you know, it's sharing a link to protest information is just as valuable.
Facebook, we have to also be mindful that they're watched by government agencies because of what we do. And protest people, yeah, I mean, you can add only 500 people per person to an event. So the more people that are involved in an event, if you can't go out and you have a good network of locals, you can add to the page to help. You know what I mean? It's spreading the awareness. There's lots of different things that people can do. And again, it's communication, you know. If you don't like somebody, block them.
I use my Google Plus, my Twitter, you know, even go and drop links on 4chan, you know. I mean, sometimes that helps.
Yeah. I'm all about it. Rain or shine, you know.
It's important to share.
The change is only going to happen with us.
The more people that know about it, you know, and I'm not saying the more people that know about specific things like events, protests, whatever, the more people that have that information, you just drop it and leave it at that. You don't have to share anything sensitive.
Right. By far.
Yep.
By far.
Yeah, and once we work on the OpNewBlood, I mean, for us, it's a growing curve right now. You have the days where you'll get 150 ads or like 10 ads. You see a lot of people coming through, and for us being older fags, it's hard to tell which one's a stock account and which one's new. So, I mean, be open-minded. Maybe make a stock account that you can add people to, you know, and if you're really, really, your heart's into this, accept them, you know, because a lot of us want to push people away out of concern for our own safety, but there's also a point now where we're reaching where we've pushed and pushed and pushed to protect ourselves, and we got to open that door again.
And you know, besides what we discussed earlier with Facebook, never doing anything on Facebook, you know, here's something that the new bloods need to realize. If you're going to do something for the cause, for the idea, never share it with another living soul. Never, you know, don't talk about it. Do it, but don't talk about it, because if you share something, you're putting yourself at risk.
Right. Yeah,
or some jail time.
I 100% agree. Like, you really, it depends. You know, it's why people are in the movement, and it's something that has to be talked about more often. In that, you know, I don't want to see the computer systems of some of these giant corporations go down. I'm not telling anybody to do that, but if you did something like that, you'll never get any credit than knowing that for the cause. And you don't want, because nobody's telling you to do it, there's no credit to be given. You know, I'd like to.
Yeah, we're not doing this for attention. I mean, you've got your ego fags and fame fags.
You know, a lot of us have had good brothers and sisters, you know, arrested for long periods of time for the cause, and you know, you have to tell the people that are involved, look, if you think you're going to get in trouble, first of all, don't do it. We're never telling you to ever do anything illegal, right? But second of all, if it's for the cause,
trust your instincts. Yeah, trust your instincts. I mean, all you have is your word and your instincts.
You know, I think for us, trusting your instincts is very important, because I don't think any of us would do well in jail without internet.
I go through withdrawals for the whole first week, you know.
But that's one of the things. That's one of the things that needs to be like said as well. A lot of this is just us organizing and getting together for a common cause. You know, where we've been doing things on. They kick us off of Facebook all the time. Now we've been going to these big companies, their Facebook pages, and just in the comments telling the truth. Their comments are filled with nothing but the actual reality, and all the money they spend in advertising is now worthless. In fact, a lot of them are prepaid, so it's going to post our, you know, everybody that goes to that site gets to see our comments and what's really going on, and things like that, where it's just organizing. There's nothing to hide, right? If our government spent millions and millions of dollars to listen to all of the people at Standing Rock, man, I could have saved them. Some of us there hated the pipeline, right? You could have given me $10 and I would have told you that, right? So I mean, they're monitoring things that, like, you're monitoring all of America. 70% of the country hates you. I'll save you some time. Right? Are they going to do anything about it? No, most likely millions of dollars to listen to their conversations bitch about how much they hate you.
Well, it's scary the kind of information that Facebook even has. It has like what 5 billion users. You imagine the people who work for Facebook have all access to everything that you've done, including your credit cards that you put in there for Facebook payments, your IP address, even if you port forward to or use the mobile device to get onto Facebook. Not only that, they have your device MAC address.
Absolutely.
It is not. It's a scary fucking place. And now I've been seeing reports out that this is old news, but this is springing up again. The facial recognition software has integrated itself into possible
huge.
Possible people that are going to commit suicide on Facebook, which we've dealt with in the past. So yes, they are implementing facial recognition onto Facebook.
That brings up something else that
Go ahead.
The collective right now is also working on another project right now, and that's to basically create a platform for people. If you see a brother or sister that's really struggling, we can't offer financial aid. Anonymous never takes cash donations. Anytime, again, if you see somebody asking for cash donations and it's associated with Anonymous, question it. I mean, you have free Anons and you'll have Flint, and you may have OpSafe Winter. Now you have to make sure that the credibility of the pages that you're donating to, and if you have any questions, reach out to us. I mean, we again will research and verify before we vilify anything that we like that is concerned. But we want to make sure that people are safe when they're browsing. You know what I mean? So it goes back to being careful who you give money to.
It's unfortunate there's a lot of scams out there.
And eventually, there's going to be everybody agrees Facebook sucks. So, I mean, eventually, are going to make another social network that works for us, that can keep all information, and we'll have just as much loyalty to Facebook as they did to MySpace.
We got Anons Forever, and Anons Forever has been promoting. I really haven't even got onto it yet, but I haven't heard anything bad from it. They were programming it for a long time. So if you guys want to check it out, it's Anons Forever. You go to the webpage, and I think that they're still promoting it right now.
And I mean, whatever it is, it's going to have to be much wider than just us. Everybody from 111 is going to want to use it, which is what Facebook's appeal is, right? So I mean, there's a couple of things that we're going to have to get sorted to be able to do it. Of course, you want to customize it. You want to be able to make it your own, but you still want to have all that connectivity. And, I mean, but it has to be trendy. It has to be fun. There's a lot involved in making a social network. But for it to work, we're going to have to branch outside of our normal, Anons group.
That's why I think the OpNewBlood is really, really huge right now for us. We need to make 2017 about that. I think that the ones that have SOC accounts, if you have SOC accounts, use them to get these people that are interested, and we need to have a way to stream them, like I said, to the groups and offer the layers. First they start off with protection. If you're comfortable and they're comfortable with that, then we can offer them another layer. After protection, we can introduce them to ops that have been around for a while, and just to introduce them to how an op would work, because there has to be a system. There has to be a system set up for them, for their safety. I mean,
not like me.
Again, with social media being in the way it is.
Not like me. Into like a major cyber operations, and you're like, I don't even know what Anonymous is, but sure, I'll fucking do this.
There has to be a.
Well, yeah, and it's not even about Anonymous. It's about everybody as a whole. We're wanting to help humanity, and whether you're anonymous or you're not anonymous, and you have the same feelings as OpSafe Winter, for example, and you want to feed the homeless, and you want to donate the clothes you have, we need to make sure that we make it apparent you don't have to be anonymous to join. If you want to help us learn, grow, it needs to be an open door policy.
The open door policy has kind of screwed us quite a bit, though. I mean, when it comes to good efforts and stuff like that, like OpSafe Winter and stuff like that, I mean, that's outstanding. But when it comes to protest and more direct type action, we have been infiltrated. Every group.
That's true.
Anonymous, but
we have the same issues currently.
In my area, yeah, we got infiltrated by a couple of groups, during some protests, but one of them was actually invited, but the amount of other groups that came to the protests had no affiliation with Anonymous.
Yeah, like,
yeah, and that goes back to you don't have to be friends with everybody. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful.
Because I mean, look, because we're not doing anything that's illegal to begin with, right?
Correct.
I have always been rather, I don't know. I'll know people are infiltrators and I'll let it go because I think the chances of them having to look at all of our posts and interact with all of our people eventually ends up making them turn to our side, or at least plants the seeds of dissent. And there's two ways to deal with infiltrators. One, you call them out, right? Make a big example of them in front of everybody. Kind of rally the troops. This is what happens to infiltrators. The second way is that you tell them all the things that they don't want to know, right? You tell them how great we're doing this and that. You tell them all the things that they don't want to know, and then the people that are their handlers can't trust their information, and that makes them not be able to trust any of their infiltrators' information. So, I mean, there are ways to deal with it, but I say planting the kernels of change in their little minds. These are people that are easily manipulated. That's why they've been manipulated into infiltrating our group to begin with.
And those that, the people that are patient, the ones that are patient are the ones that are there for the long haul and are truly interested in learning.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd say that there's a couple of different ways to deal with them by situation and what you're going to use an infiltrator for. Because as soon as you know they're an infiltrator, then you have the ability to use them instead of them using you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what we're facing here in Arizona too. I mean, if you have somebody that you're not comfortable with and you have a gut feeling, again, trust your gut, but you can't make the accusation or go forth with telling everybody in your community unless you have proof. You got to verify before you vilify. If you think that somebody's bad, trust your gut. You don't have to be friends with them, but don't discredit them so quickly.
Yeah,
and on this, yeah, show me your badge, huh?
But in the same token,
and that's the same thing.
In the same token, there's a lot of well-established anonymous accounts out there that could be anything from CIA to NSA.
Oh, exactly. And I think
we have that issue too. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of them are. Like, these guys, and we know all of the tricks that they use. There's, what is it called? Controlled resistance, right? So
controlled opposition.
We give you something, controlled opposition. So we give you something to bitch about, even leadership that are involved. Alex Jones is a really good example of that, right?
He's a perfect example.
Yeah, we can point you in the right direction. Now, like, Alex started off hardcore, and whatever, however they got.
And then he went on. Then he sold out to, he sold out to the people he's fighting.
Yeah, and now it's quite obvious that he's controlled opposition. That is used in every single, activist group that there is. So yeah, I would say a lot of the bigger sites. Look, you look at the advertising that it takes for those big sites, the money that goes involved to it, right? All of that does lead you to believe that there's much bigger entities doing it.
Well, yeah, Alex.
Like the whole George Soros thing.
They've got 10 people on their page. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I've even heard Alex Jones talking. That he has some guy high up there. Even that was disturbing me. Like when he was saying that, like he's been saying that for a while now. It's like who are you in contact with that's getting all this information?
Yeah. It's just I don't know what the deal, because like I said, you know what I mean, Alex. If you look at some of his older stuff,
he was anti-NWO. He was onto the
he did the Bohemian Grove documentary.
Grove. Yeah, he was talking about the two-party system, and now he wants. Then he was like, when Trump came into the thing, he was like totally for Trump, and I'm like, you hate both
you're telling
sides.
You work for Cobra.
Now he's calling himself a libertarian that is in favor of a guy that is fighting the New World Order, and I'm like, Alex,
something happened.
Something's weird.
Right, or that was the way that it was supposed to work. That that moment that he got at the Bohemian Grove was really just a setup to get him some notoriety, so that you could use him as controlled opposition.
I don't know. Like after the Bohemian Grove, he did visit some of the people that he had come in contact with, and then videotaped them. And I'm not sure if he had a show at that point or if he had access to video, but I have seen the streams of him interviewing the people, saying that he had crashed the Bohemian Grove and was visiting the people that were there.
I saw him. I did. But these, like I said, these people will set things up.
I say we stream live from there. I say we go on a road trip, guys.
I can't leave the state yet. I want to go.
I'm down.
This guy. I mean, seriously. I mean, we need to myth bust some of this stuff. I really want to go there myself and
it's
just
going
see.
On, it's going on this summer. It's for 2 weeks during the summer, and there will be Secret Service there. But it's in Northern California.
There's a whole lot.
Yeah, the Sonoma Forest. No, not Sonoma. It's in.
That's the deal. Like, it was a complete fluke that Alex Jones got in there. Nobody gets in there. Like, nobody.
But yeah, when he was at the Bohemian Grove, he really wasn't like with the other people. You can see him in the bushes, kind of like fucking around with stuff. So it was either made to look like he had broken in, or he was hiding somewhere in the bushes, just videotaping.
Yeah, I don't like anything that I see on TV. I immediately don't trust, just because it's it's all real convenient now that we see part of the end game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you ever like heard Alex talk? He's just crazy enough to do it. Like he's not like Alex Jones. Like, have you ever seen him like completely just lose it? He
does all the time, and he's one of those guys. I don't know if you guys have watched any of his stuff, but seriously, go back, because he is one of those guys. You'll agree with him on 99% of what's going on, and then he goes off on that extra 1% of crazy, all the way off.
It's like somebody flipped a switch.
Yeah, and he'll just lose it, and you'll be like, okay, all right, so the other guy is English. But I mean, come on, too much. Dial it back, dude.
Yeah,
when he freaked out with the interview and starts screaming 1770 fucking interviewer. Oh, it was hilarious. No taxation without representation. He goes crazy.
Have you ever heard him talk over his guests and then just start yelling at them? He does it all the time.
Yeah, he even tried that on Joe Rogan's show the other day, a while back.
Alex, if you're watching, please, for the love of God, from one addict to another, lay off the go fast. Seriously. I can tell.
Man.
Oh yeah, I've often suspected.
He got red-eyed Joe Rogan show, bro.
I've often suspected that he's either on pharmaceutical go fast or he's using the real thing.
Yeah, that was episode 911 of the Joe Rogan show. It was him and Alex and Eddie. What's his that? I can't even remember the other guy. But yeah, it was pretty funny. It was actually a pretty good show to watch. Really.
I remember one time he blamed his aggression on him eating steaks and working out. And I'm like, from one addict to another, I can call your bullshit. Uh-oh, do we lose somebody?
I hope not.
Whoa, there's two of you.
Is the sound coming through?
Well,
and are you guys hearing things clear?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
All right.
So, thanks, Barrett Brown, for everything you've ever done for us, man.
Absolutely. Now there's two of Tyler.
Hey, I just read that.
What happened?
I just read that the Air Force or the Navy wants to release a bunch of bombs off of Hawaii, and they're looking at killing or damaging like a massive amount of wells, and they're asking for permission to do the bomb testing and stuff. This is something that we can actually change because we're aware of it before it happens. It's pretty fucked up.
It's kind of hard to hear, man. You just on a bad connection, or?
I think so.
Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear you. You just.
I can try to find the link, but I'm just saying, I mean, there's really not a lot of wells. I don't remember what type of well, but they gather around Hawaii like every year and go on a circle and dive down and
There you go.
Is that Loki?
Yeah.
His connection's kind of blurry.
Are you on a Bluetooth headset?
All together. Started talking shit about Alex Jones and it kicked me out.
But yeah, setting up a page. Yeah, setting up a page to basically show steps of protecting yourself before you get involved in internet activism with OpNewBlood is a really good step forward. I mean, I know they had a website back in the day, but I don't know how active that is anymore. They don't really need to jump into IRCs. It's more net safety.
Right.
Speaking of which, we should probably go back.
I'm actually part of OpNewBlood, I guess. I'm in a shit group. I was trying to share a video on their page.
Yeah, it's coming out.
One of the other things I'd like to see more work on this year too is ops on chemtrails. I see a lot of people very passionate about chemtrails, and I mean it's basically stuff being put into our ozone. More verification, proof, and awakening people to what's really going on out there. What are those planes doing? What are they putting in the air? How to protect yourself.
A good way to start being active on it is hit up any of the farmers that are like in the area where you can see the crop, you can see, and ask them if you can do soil samples and bring it back to a lab, because what goes up must come down.
Yeah, by far.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean they've had like China's done quite a bit in weather modification and using certain chemicals and stuff to cloud seed. I'm pretty sure we've done something similar. I don't know if maybe they're trying to reflect some of the sunlight back into the sky to kind of slow down some global warming stuff here.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
don't you
100%.
It just
But they're
seems
doing
like some of the theories, like I've heard, it's like for anti-radar detection or anti-satellite detection, and I'm just like thinking, I'm like, well, I mean that's one way to go about it. That's one way to go about it, but it's just like it seems more like just me just thinking a little more logical. It seems to me just like it's geoengineering.
Yeah, like I do think they're up to something up there.
Yeah,
I definitely think they're up to something.
And speaking of tons of groups, those are the ones I've been added to the most lately. I've seen a real rise in chemtrails. So again, that's something that OpNewBlood can get involved in too. I mean, we need more proof. There's so much stuff out there. It's finding what's real. It's again, it goes back to fake news. You know what I mean? We've got to be able to find out what it is step by step. Find out what we have out there that's already available.
The people who think it's fake, there's been a lot of flyby videos, from just people in normal airplanes, flying by these things and just seeing the fucking shit getting spat out the back. It's like, it's not like a conspiracy theory. It's like a real thing. And you can go out, and you can go, especially if you live like, near an airport or a military base or anything like that, go out, look at this guy. All right. And if you see these, chemtrails, okay, there's a difference between a contrail and a chemtrail. Contrail will disappear after, so often. A chemtrail will stay there. It's an aerosol. Yeah, it'll stay there for hours. It's an aerosol spray being sprayed from the tail via a jet or an outlet vent. And this is not condensation caused from the high pressure and the low pressure of the wing. This is something completely different. I argued with a guy who worked for Boeing and saying that they're not doing it. And I'm like, just look at the videos, dude. Just look at the fucking videos and look at this guy. He's like, no, they're contrails. I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah, and being able to identify what's going on is important. I mean, it's like everything else. We have a tendency to look up in the sky and dream. So we need to make sure to be able to collect up evidence is evidence. You know what I mean? So if
getting the soil samples of places where it's being heavily it's being sprayed. Even those, okay, there are certain areas that are high in whatever, and typically, how should I say this? Is what I was talking about, that farmer where they got the topsoil and they were doing soil samples, and this guy was trying to see what was in the chemtrails, and there was high amounts of aluminum oxide or some weird chemical that wasn't actually native to the to where you would find topsoil in that area. Yeah. And what he had concluded is that what they were spraying was some form of aluminum.
Well, and that's what leads me to the cloud seeding, because that's how China was in quite a drought for a while, and they found out that if you take a certain amount of aluminum, and you can look up what the mix is, and all of that, and you fire it up into these clouds, you're able to make them heavy and make it rain. But you'd have to look in places where you had, a layer like that and be able to prove it, which is hard for us sometimes. Not only do you have to collect it correctly, but then we have to get it to people that will read it, that'll take it seriously.
Yeah, and that's with the chemtrail groups. You're going to find people in those groups, or maybe one or two, like a needle in the haystack, that may work in the fields, that have the knowledge, the experience, the ability to test, and we need to start reaching out to them. And the groups are really productive as far as gathering and awakening people to what's going on, but there needs to be an end game. What is our goal for this group? What are we going to try to do with this group? You know what I mean? Mass adding to the groups, to getting 20,000 people to a chemtrail group. I mean, you have so many people there. Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And we've got to have a focus, the whole end game thing. Yeah. And I mean, moving forward, one of the other things, having guests from these topics, like somebody that's very familiar with chemtrails. Another one that I see a lot of that racks my brain is the flat Earth groups.
Oh my God!
Just twitch when I twitch when I see it. I mean, the whole idea the government was making up going to the moon. I can believe that. I can believe that. But the Earth.
But I've met Buzz Aldrin, and and this is just me and this is just a little personal info working in the show business. Okay. Obviously, okay, there's a lot of weird shit with the moon landing, and I'm not going to deny it. But here's the thing: is one of their arguments is that there were footprints when the guy went out to do the first walk. Okay, how do you think they got the fucking camera to film where they were in the first place? Okay, they fucking did what we do in the show business. They get a better angle, and then they pretend like they just did it the first time.
Oh no! Look, I'm not in this. This is something. This is something. We try never to even go down the flat Earth road here. I just don't think
the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole.
I can't do that. I just can't do this. I blame our education system.
Yeah. And see, there's people that are passionate about it though, and if they're passionate about it,
I'm like,
message the show. If you're very familiar with it, we'd love to hear about it.
You know, that's what I tell the flat earthers. Okay, they're now now they got a date for that commercial air flight, so that you can they actually got a start date where you can go to the moon. Go get yourself like $20 million fucking dollars, and I swear to God, you will be baffled. They'll throw your shit out the door.
I just can't. This seems like something that we had already figured out like ages ago.
Galileo was wrong.
Have you ever had like a boyfriend or girlfriend right here that like brings up shit that's like, man, I was 5 when that happened. You know what I mean? Like I thought we would work this out already. The Earth is round, guys. You're really gonna have to get over this.
That's the thing. I mean, as passionate as we are about everything we do, there's people out there that are passionate about their flat Earth or their chemtrails.
But there's people that are passionate about Nazism too, and they're just wrong.
Yeah, I second that. I'm all for punching a Nazi.
You know what they also think?
Yeah, I mean,
they also think is round out there in the universe. We just haven't ever been close enough to verify it, but they actually think that the physical shape of a black hole is actually a sphere.
Yeah,
we have no proof of that.
This is something, I hate to be the one to bring this up, but it seems like, I don't know, guys, most stuff in our universe is round. It seems.
Well,
it's just making a general observation. It would just seem a little weird if the only thing in the universe that wasn't round was Earth.
And you can't debate a flat earther; they get mad immediately.
But it's because you can't. It's like an argument that you can't have and use like any actual science. Like you're using actual science, and they hit you with all of this like just. Who made that up? Who are you listening to? Why would light travel? Oh my God!
You're like, dude, I need to do a real good acid to argue with you, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I just can't. It's one of those we know. It seems like we know so little about the universe as it is. We can't be going back, y'all. Right? Like we can't. Like we gotta keep moving forward. You know, like you want to tell them, look, I dig it. You know, you don't quite understand how the world works. That's fine, but we got to move forward, man.
Well, here's another one. I have arguments with. I have arguments with the Nibiru Planet X, and I'm sorry, guys. I hate to drop it on you. All right. Yes, they have detected stuff out there, but I have listened to all the arguments about Nibiru and Planet X that's coming up. I don't buy it. All the videos I see are CGI. I have looked with a fucking telescope where you guys tell me to look. I have looked, okay, and I'm not like a stupid guy. I might be smart, but I'm a little stupid. You know, I haven't seen any big black objects in the sky. Now, are there objects out there in our asteroid belt? You know, that cannot be detected. Yes, all the time. The technology that we have is not that good. And if you've ever studied astronomy, it is very hard to detect moving objects, especially in space. But Nibiru, guys, I mean, like, is there an 11th, or there's a planet plus Pluto? Yes, but it is not there. I don't see a planet near our sun. I don't see a planet in our sky that's close enough where I can see the black object. That's where I'm at.
All right. So rather than go with this, because I think everybody's pretty cool with that. Like we see it with right.
I just saw the comment about Nibiru and Planet X, and I'm just like, I just had a comment.
Yeah, the sneaky planet thing, I dig it. But the what is it called? The Dark Knight project, that weird satellite that does go like north to south across the Earth. Do we know about any of that?
No, I don't know anything about that.
So Tesla detects this satellite. So there's the moon, one or two other satellites that go across the planet that
that follow just a normal rotation around us. But then there's this extra one. I think it's called the Dark Knight. It's named after an English rocket program, which was like their first government excuse for it being up there. It's weird. It puts off like a radio signal. They say that it's not theirs, but it's like this. You guys got to check it out. Tesla actually discovered it.
Oh,
right?
wait, is this that weird? Is this that weird signal that Tesla heard? It was actually a beacon, and this was back in like early 1900s, and it was having Morse code, all right, or it was having some sort of like data burst, and this was before any radio was built, and he was the first guy to invent the machine that could actually hear radio waves. And this was like a repeating thing.
This thing goes north to south, right? So it doesn't orbit our Earth correctly. It can like the way that it is. It had to have been, so however you figure it, it had to be put up there. It doesn't really work that it just got caught up in our gravity because our gravity doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
Didn't he think it was coming from Mars? That's what he thought. He thought it was coming from Mars.
There's this it being up there isn't what's debated. What it is really weird. At one point they said, oh, well, it's an ejection seat, but it's obviously not because the space shuttle's next to the seat, on what they're calling is the seat, and it would just be absolutely massive. So that's not what it is. It's a real weird, I'll post a link here in our, same with, what about that possibility of the what is it called? The Nappy planet? What's the solar system that might have that alien structure around the sun? Class 2 civilization?
Oh, you're talking about Dr. Michio Kaku's Class 2. That would be interesting.
Right, so there's this sun way out in the middle of nowhere, a little tiny one, and it flickered real weird. So we, Kepler...
Hello?
Looked at it, and down on the line of all the things that it could be, right? One of them was a civilization has managed to harness this sun's energy just about completely. Now they keep on doing more and more tests, and things keep on dropping off of what they could be. And at this point, it's starting to look more likely that it could possibly be a alien structure. Right, that's it hasn't been taken off of the table out of all of the things that it went to, and that list is getting smaller and smaller. Now they're starting to look at the radio frequencies from it. But God, we eventually got to find someone else living in the universe. I don't think that's that big of a shock. We really haven't been looking all that hard.
Well, yeah,
right. We looked way harder to be able to read the pack of cigarettes in a terrorist's coat pocket than we did looking off to see if there was aliens living right next door to us. We really haven't checked very hard. It's like looking for lions and only really checking around your bedroom. I don't see any.
Yeah, that's another fun topic, aliens. Being in Arizona and driving through California, through the grapevine, all the fun stuff, I've actually, in my lifetime, seen several unexplained phenomenons that you just can't explain, and that's Mother Earth. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can't explain, but there's a lot of things that you can't explain, and there's a lot of proof. And there's another thing that the government silences and doesn't want us to have information on. I myself believe in aliens. The world is vast. The universe is vast. Why wouldn't there be something more intelligent?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who hear a theory and believe it, and just because they want something to believe in and it sounds good to them, so they just go with it. And they'll argue it. They will argue the point to no end.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it all depends on what kind of phenomena you're looking at. I can tell to most people, here's this, right? So kind of in the 80s, 70s and 80s, if you looked up and you saw aliens, you saw a triangle spacecraft, right? With 3 lights on it, didn't come up on radar, ran
in the 50s, they were all circular.
Right, but now after it's been declassified, we all know that those were the B-117 stealth bombers, right? An all-black aircraft, looks like a triangle, 3 lights on the bottom, doesn't come up on radar. Boom, we know it. Now, recently, the lights in the sky, you have to build quite a few things to make an object. I'm ex-Air Force, right? Aerospace engineer. Now, one of the things when people look up in the sky, they'll say that the aircraft that they're looking at or the object that they're looking at moves too fast, that would break, or you know what I mean? The G-forces would destroy a person. So they need like gravity, you know what I mean, inertial dampeners and all this weird stuff to make it work. But now that we've worked with drones, right, you know that the object that you're seeing in the sky probably doesn't have a person in it, which is why it can move the way that it can move, right? Even the F-16s that we were working on, they had to like dial back, right? If that plane did everything that it could be, it would smash every bone in your body. G-forces alone, right? The plane could handle it, no problem, but the human body couldn't. Now, the objects that you're seeing in the sky, the reason that they can move at such fast pace and change direction and do all that cool stuff is because there's no person in them, right? And that changes completely how you view that object, right? Once there's not a person in it, it can do some pretty amazing stuff. Machines can do some amazing things when you don't have a human in the middle of them, right? And most likely that's what people are seeing. And within 20 or 30 years, you know, it'll be revealed that they were working on the next set of drones, you know, that can react super fast, avoid, you know what I mean, each other, avoid rockets, do all sorts of cool stuff. Like, that's not, you know, that's well within our grasp of technology, and I'm sure what the military is working on. I have no evidence to say that that's what they are, but most likely that's what they are, right? But there's all sorts of other phenomenon that happen around us that aren't quite so easily explainable. I personally had never seen anything that I looked at and thought, oh, yeah, that was made by aliens. You know what I mean? It was all World War II kind of, you know what I mean, continued, right? We're working with jets. They found that the you know, they discovered the jet really at the, you know, the end of World War II, middle of World War II. We're still working with jets. You know, they don't seem all that fantastic anymore.
Oh no,
right?
they got that Ram jet that
yeah, but I mean,
they can keep on going faster and faster and faster and faster until you run out of fuel.
Yeah, but even our trips back and forth to the moon, right? Of course we're not going to be able to make it any farther. We're using fucking rockets. We had rockets at the beginning of World War I. It's 150 fucking years. How far do you expect to get by strapping a bunch of explosives to your back? Right? So, like, I mean, it's just been, like, I never came across anything that you would think, oh, yeah, that was total, you know what I mean? That had to be, that came from a species that came from the other side of the universe, right? The computers that they were using, all of it was pretty much attainable. You know, like I said, I never saw anything, and like I gave it an okay look. Right? Like, I would have been happy with just like a little bit of you know, just like a rumor where I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Even if somebody said like they had an anti-gravity, you know, device, or a device that, you know, that could bend space around it. You know, that sounds plausible because, geez, we should have done that by now. Right? So it doesn't seem that it would take aliens to be able to do it just because we should have done it ages ago. But we're still trying to get back and forth with rockets.
A lot of science came from science fiction. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah, that's when you watch even
touch on it.
When you watch Star Trek, right? There was a time where that seemed like it was fantastic, right? But in today's world, it just seems like we should have done that already and just wasted all of our time doing this. Like, there's nothing on there that you're all like, oh, wow, that's going to really take some figuring. You always kind of look back and be like, well, why don't we have cool warp drives already? Get on it. If there's some, like, scientists working on it, come on, let's go. You want to end war in the world? Give us our hoverboards.
That's what we have. We have a hoverboard.
Your average terrorist is like 19 to 25 years old. You drop hoverboards all over the fucking country, nobody's going to war. I don't have time. I'm on my fucking hoverboard.
Oh, dude, they have a fucking hoverboard, and what they were using is those
I've seen those.
Yeah, so using liquid nitrogen and
yeah, see, that's cheating. But
weren't they lighting on fire?
No,
exactly.
It's liquid nitrogen and those capacitors that hold a charge like forever, and you have to use it on a metallic surface. But we got one. We got a fucking hoverboard.
No, like, I think
that's awesome.
I think they were trying to pull a fast one on us. They know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I need a real hoverboard. Same with the two, like,
I also want a magic carpet ride, and I also want a genie with 3 wishes.
Your wish is my command, madame.
Yeah, well, what I don't know what I would do. Oh, geez, 3 wishes. That's really rough. I think we're much closer to the hoverboard than the genie. And if you had a chance of finding a genie, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's probably been carpet bombed by now. Aladdin took place in Baghdad.
Oh, shit. Yeah, and that brings me to another subject, guys. The whole racism with Trump being currently president. Racism in general. If you ignore somebody on your feed that is saying something completely racist, whether it be to a Muslim community, whether it be about African Americans, or whether it be about white people, you cannot ignore it. If you ignore it, then you're accepting racism. And there's other people that are seeing it. You don't necessarily have to stand up if you're nervous or scared to approach that debate, but you can't not do anything. Okay, whether it's a PM to the person saying that's not right.
We really have to, like, when we come and in mass, you know, people have to feel protected where they can speak out. A lot more people would speak out if they knew that there were others that would back them up on it. And sometimes it just leads to, you know, to an argument. Sometimes it leads to people coming to some consensus. Some people are just racist jackasses and deserve to be stomped on social media. So, like, there are pages that are just for, you know, if you feel like talking to other white supremacists or supremacists in any way, or weirdo extremist groups, there are pages for you to go and do that. But I think where we play, I'm just going to kick you out of the playground. I'm sorry. You got to go.
Yeah, no, I see a lot of it on a daily. I mean, you won't make it onto my friends list if you're posting things with swastikas, or, I mean, there's a line that I draw. I will go for lulz and troll, and most of us do. You know, we know where Anonymous came from, but there's a line I draw if it's hurting somebody. I mean, if somebody has feels about that, then they shouldn't be in those groups. But if you're posting it on your wall where you have friends that this is going to affect, and you're not sensitive to it, those are the people that we need to isolate, because I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's really, really bad, and it's getting worse. And the only way it's going to change is if we speak up. You know what I mean? And I'm really, really strong about the anti-fascism. I mean, if I see somebody on my thread, I don't care who you are, I don't care what skills you have, where you're from, or what your trust fund looks like. If you start that crap, I'm going to say something. You know, because it's complete ignorance.
Elected, all of the Nazis and nutcases are coming out of the woodwork, like we were talking about the other day when you were here. I mean, they're coming out from every direction now.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking to see in some cases, you know, because you will, you know, just from a minority perspective, you're exposed to it so much already. You know, the system that's pretty racist. And then you do see where, you know, you would love people to be supporter. You'd feel like there was people on your side and all of that. Seeing all of those people come out of the woodwork is disheartening. That so many of those people still exist. You know, you're kind of surround. Yeah. It's a weird situation that we're living in at the moment.
Well, all I ask is that we keep them out of our circles. You know, if somebody's doing something like that that's offensive and that hurts others, and it's crossing that racism border, I mean, you can't deny it. You know what I mean?
Like I think the exact opposite. Fuck them. Like I think it's.
I'll delete them off my friends list. I don't need everybody else subjected to it.
Yeah, like look, man, I'm not saying you have to go home, but you got to get the fuck out of here. So.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, how you handle that is really up to you. But I think when we outnumber them, you know, anytime that you can change your mind, you need to change your mind. But sometimes, yeah, we just gotta make there be no place where you can say those things or react that way outside of actual discussion. I'll never hate anybody for actually asking a question. You know, and maybe you have someone that some dude says, look, I live in rural Alabama. I've only seen black people on TV. Right, and what my family tells me, you know what I mean? If that person comes to you and asks a question, then I think you're obligated to answer them to honestly, right? But that's different than going on there and just going on little racist tirades.
Yeah, and there's educating, and there's being way too affirming your opinions. You know what I mean? You can tell them how you feel and how it will make other people feel, but you can't change somebody else who doesn't want to change. You can just put your input in. You know what I mean? Again, kick them out of the playground.
Mm. Yeah, I'm happy with that. You can go hang out with your racist buddies. That's fine. Go nuts.
Yeah, just keep you and your racist buddies out of my playground.
Well, like when they were saying like, I really just not. I wish we didn't live in quite that world. Like it's all been proven to be so untrue that we still have this part of the population that seems to be still pretty well connected. That still believes in like these archaic ideals of what race and immigration and all of those things mean. It's crazy to see. Like the people that are Irish that aren't pissed off about what they're saying about immigrants. Like you've forgotten that whole part of American history. Like your own history, or the guys that are Italian or Polish, or you know what I mean. It's crazy. Yeah. I didn't mean to go on a tirade, guys. Fuck. Did I go full on Alex Jones?
Yeah, you were like I like totally was like not paying attention and like watching my other screen. I was like, wait, what were you guys talking about? I heard racism?
This dude has lost. Yeah. All right.
Am I the only one on here who's still on here? Is anybody else on here?
So I think everybody just after they just turned it off.
So how about them Dodgers?
Yeah. I'm gonna put myself in a self timeout here. Sorry. What do we still have left on the list to talk about, or can we take questions from somebody? Give us something to talk about.
I've got something that we oh, sorry, James is getting mad. I'm being loud. It's the Sicilian blood. One of the things that we're hearing a lot about too, the hate factory, and I hate to drop this bomb at the end of the day, but I mean, we're about love, we're about unity, and obviously we're on two different moral paths of what we're wanting to do. I don't have anything against anybody personally, but if you cross that line and you're hurting people, then you're not going on the same path we are.
Oh no, I don't think your intent should ever be to hurt people. And I think one of the things that that Anonymous does is you get plenty of warning. Most of the time it's stop what you're doing way before anybody takes any sort of action. But I think all of our actions, number one, should almost never be violent. Never be violent. And it's just they need to be effective, right? But not violent. Our enemies understand violence. Right, that's the one thing they do understand. So as soon as you use anything else, they have no idea how to deal with that.
the trolling people to the point where they're in tears or near suicide. Keep that to your groups. We don't want to see it. You know what I mean? And that's again back to the kick them out of your playground. If you've got somebody that's doing something that you don't like, remove them. If you have a friend that's on their friends list, warn them.
If you're going to be cruel and evil and disrespectful, please get on the Monsanto fucking website.
Yeah, use that
right?
for better.
I don't care that you're bad, right? I would just like
just put it in a positive area.
Direction, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to go nuts, feel free to get on any of those websites, right? Pick a fossil fuel company, just go ape shit, right?
Pfizer,
Merck, just go crazy. That's fine. I support you, right? But come on, quit picking on me.
Sorry, smoking.
Smoking.
But yeah, moving forward, we'll put more information on the page about OpNewBlood and OpNewBlood groups. And if you have any questions about anything you've heard tonight, I see Thor on there. He questioned some of the information that we were talking about. Thor, you're more than welcome to come on the show if you have any questions about what we are saying, or you have more insight on what we're talking about. You're more than welcome, hon, to come on the show and please enlighten us. We're not claiming to know everything. I mean, I honestly never want to know everything, but I wanted the opportunity for everybody to have their words said. You know what I mean?
Oh, let's see what we've got.
Crickets.
In the no, we still got. I didn't see what he commented about.
I think it was regarding the planet stuff we were talking about.
Oh, the Nibiru stuff.
Yeah, and I posted on there too. If he has any questions about anything we're talking about, he's more than welcome to let us know exactly what it is, because we're offering an open platform. Unless you're bringing hate and anger or infighting, we welcome everything. Unless you're a Trump supporter or a Nazi, we don't want none of that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, no, look.
No,
look,
I'm really not.
And you would like to come on the show, you know what?
Warn me, because I won't be on that day. No.
Yeah, you'll be on that day. Let's do this. I'd always. You don't get to come across. You don't get to come across the little room. You know what I mean? Take your hood off. Put the cross at the door. You know what I mean? And we can try to have a normal conversation. I don't know how it'll go.
Yeah, I mean, the next few shows, we should really like pick a poison, whether it's chemtrails or whether it's flat Earth. I'd even be open to hear somebody talk about Scientology. I mean, I really want to know where their mind is. We don't have to necessarily agree, but we want other people to understand why we feel the way we do.
I would like. Yeah. No, I don't think I don't want to go down that road.
I'm open for it.
Yeah, you know what? Same with the Nazi thing, man. You know what? Just fuck off. You guys can have your own show. I don't know. Right in the comments would be, I don't know. I just don't want to. That's like there's. I just think there's so much that we could argue about. Like I said, I don't want to go backwards. Like Nibiru is kind of a weird thing, because you can maybe he'll know some things that we don't, right? I wouldn't mind going on. I wouldn't mind at least like discussing some of that stuff, right? Because there's all sorts of stuff winging through the universe. So pick a planet we don't know about.
You know, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, being anonymous, the idea. You know, it's not about agreeing. It's about everyone coming together and sharing different ideas. And you know, and learning from one another, and it seems like sometimes people don't get with the program. They want to troll, they want to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that goes back to OpNewBlood. I mean, I think it's important to communicate with these young people, because they're coming into this and they really don't know what it's all about. They think they think that it's, you know, everyone's having a great time. We're putting a mask on and partying. And they're not. They haven't signed up for the reality of it. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. And that's why I think it's our place to.
That's why I don't rock my mask anymore, though, because it is kind of left up. I mean, I don't know. I get a chuckle out of it sometimes. So you'll be talking.
Oh, same here.
And you'll be like, God, you are the most obnoxious little shit I've ever talked to. I like you. You're gonna be awesome in like 10, 15 years. Like I remember being that guy. So I like it's always hard. It's always hard for me to give other people direction sometimes, because I still remember the reasons why I didn't like having direction.
A lot of people will resist it, of course. I mean, because you know, ego plays a big part in it, and you know, everyone wants to look like they know what they're talking about, and you know, and it's not necessarily true. And you know what? People need to realize that it's okay to not know what you're talking about. That's why we collectively come together, because what I don't know, someone else will, and we learn from each other. And you know, we need to continue that trend. If we don't, I mean, we failed already.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's the things that we agree on that are so important in this world, because most of the time they're way more, like, they carry way more weight than the things that we don't agree
Absolutely.
on. All right, guys, I'm gonna call her quits for tonight.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah, night.
Is it just me on here?
No, I'm here. It looks like L's muted. I don't know where Rose went off to.
I can't do this show by myself.
No,
this is the Tyler Durden show where we're gonna talk about the absolute weirdest stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Elle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Elle? Elle? Is she there?
She's here, but she's muted.
I'm wondering if it's like a error.
You know, it could be a lag.
Yeah, she's on the other side of the world. But yeah, no, I kind of wanted to go back to that whole, medical thing and just, elaborate, on the deceptive, on the deception on, that there are some really good, medicines out there that, our government, especially here in America, has demonized and illegalized. And, here's the thing that I don't even get, right? And I don't even get. You will find drugs and medications you'll find the street version in a Schedule 1, and then you will find the pharmaceutical version in a Schedule 2. So it's like, if some guy in his backyard is making the fucking shit, it's illegal. But if a pharmaceutical industry is making it, then it's legal.
You're taking away their business. Yeah. You're the competition.
Yeah. And lo and behold, so all of you people, right? Like, there is a prescription for methamphetamine. Yeah, there is. There really, really is. Abbott Labs makes it. I think so does GlaxoSmithKline. I am not joking with you guys. And but yeah, it's but like, here's the thing, is that a lot of people will demonize amphetamines. But to be honest with you, in the psychology field and people that do deal with mental disorders, it really does have some medical benefits. I'm sorry, it really does.
You're absolutely right. It does.
And when you're dealing with schizophrenics, and I hate to say this, I really do. And if you've ever worked with anybody who's dealt with schizophrenia and drug addiction, they are generally better on the drugs.
I think that can be said for probably most, because a lot of people can't function without it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like they're almost not even really human, because they've become so dependent on it, and that's where the street drug versus the so-called pharma version comes into play. A lot of the stuff that they get on the streets isn't clean. It's really dirty. It has all these other chemicals, mixed into it, and it was like someone said on the show earlier, there's always going to be a demand for it. So they may as well make it legal now, or it's going to go back underground. And we know what happens when that happens. A lot of, unnecessary deaths, a lot of people getting killed. And, it's just ridiculous that it's not legal already.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, even when you trace back to mankind and drug use, it almost goes back to the beginnings of human society. You have, history of shamanism and psychedelic use and drug use, even into the beginning of humanity. But all of a sudden, in modern day times, within the last 100 years, it is illegal to put this shit in your body. Now, where in fucking Sam Hell does an authority or the government have the right to tell you what you can and cannot put in your body?
It goes back to what I said earlier. It's all about control and profit.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that I'm not sure if any of our viewers and I, me coming from an addictions counselor and working both sides of the field, I always walk this like double-edged sword, but a lot. How should I say this? There are some. I always think of it as like an extension of the human experience when you're dealing with psychedelic drugs, and I'm not talking about the ones that make you. I'm talking about the ones that are going to scare the living shit out of you. Okay. Like, hold on to your fucking ass. You're going on for a fucking ride. Now, what you're actually learning in a lot of these ones, when you get that weird feeling when you're losing your ego, and this is where the psychology comes into it, you are losing your ego. You're losing all the identification of yourself. Now, that is something that you can't learn in human society. That's only something you're going to learn through a psychedelic experience. It's almost as though losing yourself is going to find yourself again.
Absolutely.
Some
I've been
people
there
find this
myself
through
personally.
religion,
I've been there personally when it comes to things like that. I won't mention which ones I used, and I experimented quite a bit when I was younger with different substances. And the truth is, the government wants to keep us enslaved. They don't want us to free our minds. And I think that hallucinogens, peyote for one, it helps you find a sense of self.
I'm back. Sorry, guys, about the going missing. I had to run for a sec, but I'm back, and Oh, sorry. I just want to point out while you're talking about those drugs that expand the mind. Have you touched upon salvia? I don't think you have as yet. Salvia. Do you guys know?
Yes. I have done. I have done just about every drug known to man. I've done a lot of salvia, and salvia. There's two chemicals in it: salvinorin A and salvinorin B. Now, it is a weird psychedelic. Okay, and it has its roots in Xochitl, Mexico, to the Aztecs.
Yeah,
shamanistic, and if you've ever done an extract or you've done it orally, what they used to with the Xochitl Indians, I think they were the Xochitl Indians or the Aztecs, I don't know which ones, and I think this is almost dating back like 2,000, 3,000 years ago.
I think it might have been
they used to use what they used to quit it, they used to chew it, and I've tried it that way. It's a completely different experience. Now, the hallucinations that you are getting from the salvia is coming from, and this is gonna trip you out. It's not like DMT, it's not like a mess. It's actually hitting the kappa endorphin receptor in the brain, which is notoriously known in some really weird opioid derivatives to spark hallucinations. But the hallucinations that you see on salvia are very distorted. Like, I have this one experience where my friends, where were we? We were somewhere in downtown LA. And this head shop happened to have some it was like the most potent salvia you could get. Like it was like 100x or something like that, some like black tarry shit. And so we went back to my friend's house and we got a bong and we smoked it. Right now, I have never had an experience like this. Never again. I swear to fucking God. All right. I've had experiences where I thought I was a wall for a second, and I wasn't I didn't know what the world was. I thought I was a wall. No, this is the most disturbing one. So all of a sudden, like I'm in a world. It kind of looks like San Francisco, right? And I have these memories from this world as though I've been living there for like forever, right? And but here's the weird part: is that everybody is a Crayola crayon.
There's infinite dimensions and things that shows you. It's really interesting. My mum's done it, and everybody seems to get the impression that they're actually merging with matter, and I think that's really interesting as a shamanistic type of drug. It sort of it educates you in oneness in the truest sense, where it kind of rips you out of your skin and just merges you with everything.
It was almost like being blasted off into a parallel dimension. And here was the weird part. I'm not sure if it was nostalgia, but I'm almost positive from that experience that I swear to God that I thought I had memories from being to that place, that I had already been there before, which is either saying one or two things. Either the drugs are making the brain act in ways that it's not supposed to, and it's creating like an artificial self, an artificial reality, or we're really doing something here,
I've read up quite a bit on it because I was a little bit actually concerned. I wasn't actually awake when I found out that my brother was engaging in it because he's into agnosticism and things like that. And I got quite concerned, you know, so I researched the hell out of it. And, you know, apparently they say that salvia causes a very natural reaction in your brain, and it's actually not a harmful reaction, even though it's, they say, one of the most powerful, or maybe even the most powerful hallucinogenic experience that you can have. It doesn't actually cause damage to your brain. I know it is debatable. I think there may have been 1 or 2 cases where people might have, it altered their perception of reality so much, I think they got depressed. And then maybe some people attribute salvia to that. But I think it's maybe 1 or 2 rare cases. But apart from that, it doesn't seem like it causes any actual damage, like, say, like a psychedelic trip can, for example.
Native Americans still use peyote in their vision quests.
Yes, in the Church of Peyote, it's still legal. It's still legal in New Mexico.
And mushrooms, actually, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's psilocybin. I'm not exactly sure. But in Thailand, I actually had this. And I had this. I've never had salvia, but I can only relate the experience to, like, I felt like I could see the fabric of the universe. I felt like I could see that everything was connected. And in fact, it helped me along my process to realizing what was going on in the world, you know, just actually taking that mushroom shake that I had over in Thailand.
It's psilocybin cubensis. It's psilocybin is inherently, it's a tryptamine. It's related to, you know, it's in the same family as LSD, and then you got your phenethylamine drugs, which is like, you know, mescaline and MDMA and methamphetamine, and yeah, you know, even with my experiences with mescaline, you know, it was like, I don't know, it's there's not much like addiction potential, but in the psychiatry field and the human experience, it's like I often felt as though it was like an addition to you know, just the human experience, and just a loss of ego and loss of self, and seeing something that I couldn't normally see, you know.
Do you think it's fair to say, like, this is just a bit of a loose hypothesis, you know, that, you know, say we've mentioned the mescaline and we've mentioned the salvia and also the mushrooms, you know, all the sort of the natural chemical trip, you know, experiences that you can have, and they all seem to promote in people this deep connection or oneness or sort of awareness of the earth. Do you think that that's sort of almost the plant sort of chemical reaction, almost trying to sort of reach out to us in a sense?
I have thought about that, and I've also thought about it in a different way. You know, is that when you're dealing with these alkaloids and these plants, it might be Gaia, or, you know, earth or whatever, you know, the plant's natural ability to fight off a beast, or, you know, like an animal from eating it. It would deter an animal from eating it again. But I also see it from the other point of view, that this might be, you know, nature talking back to us, or it might be something spiritual. I don't know. You know, I mean, I've done DMT, I've done the ayahuasca, you know, and you know, it's not always fun. And when you do ayahuasca, I don't know. It's like salvia on steroids. You kind of just don't know what's going to happen. But you know, even that was like, you know.
Wow. See, I've heard of that. I thought about having that experience actually. But yeah, it sounds you know, pretty intense. So you went over there and actually did that, did you?
I did it in my house, yeah.
Oh wow! Okay, cool. You guys have access to a lot more.
No, I mean, I wasn't. I mean, like, I got it. I mean, I had one of my packages seized, and I got it from an international vendor, and then I found some Yahoo out in the middle of nowhere that would sell me the herbs, and yeah. So me and some guys, you know, we did it, and I did it about 5 times, and it's a lot. I would say it's one of the most. I would tell you one thing, there's no euphoria. There's absolutely none. And you either get like a really good experience. You get one that'll fucking scare the shit out of you, and like, I don't ever want to do this shit again, you know?
Yeah, I suppose it could go either way, couldn't it? That's what actually worries me about salvia. You know, I thought, oh, you know, it might be awesome. I might get some awesome insight. You know, I might get shown some things, or, you know, come to some inner reflection or epiphany. But at the same point, I do have that little bit of concern about, things going the other way. You hear about the old bad trip and that sort of thing. So I guess it's hard to really say what's going to happen before you do it.
Well, when that brings us to another point. That shamanism, essentially, experiencing spirituality, the use of psychedelic drugs is old. It's very, very old, and it's only up until recently that it's been shunned from modern society. And it's almost as though we're plugging out from our roots.
Actually,
they say we only use 10% of our brain. The possibility of, some of these natural herbs, as I like to call them, expanding our minds is not beyond the realm of possibility.
Haven't they done studies that the brain actually fires more neurons and things when having some of these experiences?
Yes.
Yes. It's MAPS that's doing all the research, but what they've come to the conclusion is that when you're doing psychedelic drugs, that the brain is acting in ways that it's not meant to do.
Yeah, so it's mind expanding ultimately, if it handles the shock of these chemical reactions, I suppose.
Well, and it even does some even weirder stuff. If you've ever done LSD or done some other psychotropic drugs or some really hard psychedelics, and you've tried to introduce a pleasure-inducing drug or some other ones, you'll notice that you cannot feel the effects of the other one. And that's because the brain is acting in ways that it's not supposed to.
Actually, it'd be interesting to do a bit of a field study, on consciousness and people that are aware and because each to their own. Like some people choose to, not experiment with any kind of drugs or, do any mind expansion in that way. But it would be good to see how many people out there that are conscious do engage in things like salvia or marijuana or various plant-based things that do alter your perceptions. Because I assume that it's probably the majority.
Well, the closest I can come to a psychedelic experience is it's like almost having one of those, religious experiences. Something that can barely be described with words, but has a lifetime meaning. You know what I mean? Something that's going to stick with you for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. And that's actually what having the mushroom, that's one thing I relate back to. I smoke a bit of pot. I don't really do much drugs or any of that kind of thing. Not now, that I'm a bit older. I don't muck around with it much. But the mushroom shake in Thailand, I wasn't expecting the effects of what it did to my consciousness. It actually did really change my perception of things quite a bit, and for the better, actually. It took away a lot of fear,
There are a lot of positive effects from natural plants, but unfortunately that goes back to big farm. They don't want that out there. They don't want people to know that, hey, this will relieve my pain or that will cure me, because they lose.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. I mean, but marijuana is the perfect example, and it really actually annoys me quite a bit because it's clearly a very good medication. It clearly does, so many good things, and all these. So, say for example, these children that have the seizures that are now finding that their epilepsy can be cured, but because it's been suppressed for all these years, these people have had the cure right there in their hands, and they've had to go without it. I mean, people should be annoyed at that. Just because the government's turning around and going, "Oh yeah, medical marijuana, let's do it." We've realised, people should be turning around and going, you have no right to really, restrict it anymore whatsoever.
And it wasn't even like weed. It was an alkaloid within the marijuana plant called CBD, cannabidiol. Exactly. And they, in December, the DEA said that it is a Schedule 1 narcotic and has no medical purposes. And I'm just like, the data proves otherwise.
Absolutely. My wife's friend has a son who has, really bad convulsions. And just recently she put him on CBD oil, and he's been without incident for several months now.
Yeah, and the medications they want to get your kids on if they have those kind of seizures, they want to put them on phenobarbital, they want to put them on anticonvulsants. Some of them have no harmful effects, but honestly, on a young child who is between 1 to 5, I would not in my, I would never get a kid on some hardcore anticonvulsants at that young of an age. And honestly, CBD oil is a better alternative and much safer.
Yeah, it's actually quite crazy that people would rather put their children on these risky drugs, than try the natural approach. I mean, that just shows the amount of fear that people have, generated through their campaigns against marijuana over the years. That mentality needs to be changed as well.
That awkward silence.
Everybody's run away.
Yeah. Yeah, even with I was talking about Parkinson's, you give a Parkinson's patient, who can't even hold a plate, and you let them hit a joint, and they can function not 100%, but they're functioning much better than they were on the levodopa, and there's no side effects of hallucinations like you get with high doses,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, it just annoys me to see. I'm happy to see children or anybody who has, epilepsy or any of these, illnesses that are being alleviated by the oil. But I just can't believe that all these years, just because of, the suppression of it, people have gone without. I don't know. I just want to highlight it because, how wrong, can the government be to stop, marijuana just for the sake of industry or corporations? The government is supposed to look after people. It's paid for people.
Well, yeah, they wanted to even go a little further with the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA, they've threatened this, and they've tried it a couple of times here in the state bound, is that they wanted to get involved in the supplements area, saying that because it has not been proven or disproven to be safe, that they wanted to take it completely off the market. So I'm like, they've even proposed that even vitamins would have to be regulated. And I'm just like, what fucking right does anybody tell you what you can and can't put in your body? If I want to drink gasoline, I can drink gasoline. You know what I mean? It's like my fucking body. Nobody should be able to tell me what I can and can't put in my body. And then here's the thing. Here's what the government really fucking thinks, and this is the fucking disturbing part. They think that if you legalize drugs, we're going to have crackheads and heroin addicts fucking running amok. And no. Now I'm like, no, that's not the fucking case. What you're going to have is you're going to get the legalization. You're going to get the criminality aspect out of it. And all of the money and the $60 billion a year that is spent on fighting the war on drugs, which is really a war on ourselves, because you cannot fight a mental illness. You will not stop people using drugs. The war on drugs is not as they haven't. Okay. Since they've started the war on drugs, they have not solved anything. There are more people in jails for stupid ass fucking crimes. All right. The money that they have tried to spend on putting people and getting them help in the prisons is utterly fucking retarded. I was talking about West Care and the bad level of care that they have had. What they need to do, and this is a logical solution, is legalize everything, right? Legalize it, gets rid of the criminality aspect. Now, what you can do with that saved money is invest in rehabs if people want to get the fucking help.
Yeah, the people that want to get the help, not sit and wait 2 fucking months when you actually want help and have to wait for people that have been criminally charged and forced to get help.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we have people in the 80s, you know, with huge marijuana charges, you know, that are still in fucking prison.
Yeah. And it's fucked. It's victimless crimes.
Absolutely.
And
you know, in the 70s, when Nixon started the so-called war on drugs, from that point, it was demonized, and people have been conditioned to believe that it's bad, and they're not willing to look, you know, at alternatives to it. They only see that, oh, it's bad because my parents told me it's bad. Their parents told them it was bad. So
how do you know it's bad if you haven't done it? How do you know it's bad?
It's exactly conditioning, and what we're doing right now is deconditioning.
You know, I'm not going out there and telling our audience and our viewers, you know, to go start doing heroin. But what I am telling you is that everything that you've thought about drugs is completely fucking, or at least the way that our government views it is completely back-asswards. Like, okay, let's say you got a friend, right?
As far as methamphetamines and heroin and shit like that, I mean, there is some evil drugs that make you focus inwards. Like we're talking about tryptamines and hallucinogens and shit like that, like LSD and mushrooms or whatever. And the reason that's such a threat is because it connects you to fucking everything. It makes you aware. You're aware. You're a part of the plant right next to you. You know, you feel those energies and stuff, and that's why those are illegal, because they don't want us to fucking feel connected to everything. They separate from our natural being.
Well, you know, even talking about the methamphetamine. Now, here's the fucking psychotic part, okay? And this is why I'm all for legalization, okay? Now, what Bush did is he pushed what's called the CMEA Act back in 2005, I believe, and it not only did it make it hard. Okay, now these are people who use medications and do things the right way, all right, but the chemicals that you need to make this shit, and these are in different industries, all right, they have regulated even those to the point where if you're buying too much of it, the DEA is at your fucking door. All right, this is how retarded our society has become. Even if you're using it for a normal fucking purpose, you know.
Exactly. I was a heroin addict most of my life. In the last 5 years, I've kind of weaned off. I got on methadone. I got on Suboxone. Right now, I'm using kratom, which is awesome. It's a plant, and since I've been using kratom, I've quit taking every pharmaceutical. And I'm not promoting kratom. It's addictive. It is. If I don't have it for a couple days, I'm not gonna feel good. But since I've been using it, I've quit taking every pharmaceutical drug, even like Prilosec for heartburn, that I've been taking since I was 14 years old. Like there's natural things out there that are just as effective if you're not trying to get higher or whatever, but there's natural things out there that are just as effective to treat the problems that we have. I'm not going to call them illnesses or sicknesses. I'm going to call them, the problems that we have.
And the problem is our government doesn't want us to use those. They don't want us to be free.
Because they don't profit off of it.
Absolutely.
I get my kratom from Indonesia for fucking nothing, and still, I'm addicted. It's still something that's not gonna make me feel too fucking great if I don't have it for a couple days. But it's nothing at all like the pharmaceutical alternatives that we have,
Yeah, kratom is like a low dose tramadol, and it's not actually like a real true opioid.
Isn't
it has a chemical in it called mitogyne, which binds to the mu opioid receptor, which is a very weak. It binds to it very weak, but it's enough to keep that dope sickness away.
But if you don't have,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. I just wanted to say the methadone program. It just keeps coming to mind while you're talking about opioids, particularly ones that are pushed by the system that have messed up a lot of people. From my family personally, it messed up our family. So yeah, it's worth bringing up.
Fuck methadone to hell. I was better off on heroin. Honestly.
Yeah, it's evil. And, they pushed it on a lot of people that had no need to actually be on it. And these people are still trapped on it to this day.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys are too young, but there was like a form of methadone that they had come up with, and this was back in the mid 90s. This is even before my time.
Papers?
They had this long-acting methadone, and they had to take it off the fucking market because it had a half-life of 72. No, it was longer than that. It was longer than 3 days, but they only had to dose like once or twice a week. But it was so addictive because that receptor was getting hit so fucking much for so long that the brain had adapted to it.
That's exactly why methadone is such a bitch. It's worse than fucking heroin. Like just methadone by itself.
Because it is so much worse. It literally destroys people. Like I'm sorry, like my mother in her very, very early days in life made the mistake and, got hooked up on the heroin. She met my father. She got off it. She had me as a child. I think she had a minor addiction to something else and went to the doctors. And at that point, methadone was the thing that had just come onto the market. They peddled it on her, and now she's been stuck on it ever since. She gets judged and treated like scum, She has to go to the chemist, pick it up every day, and gets treated like a drug addict. Like, this is my mother, They did this to my mother, and we didn't know what it was, this methadone, when they pushed it on our family.
Well, yeah, methadone, also has I believe, if you ever seen a long-term methadone addict, it deteriorates the body, You ever seen that?
It does. Well, yeah, I have firsthand. And it's heartbreaking because, as I say, actually before someone suggested something that they said was really good at getting off the actual heroin for people, these sorts of alternatives should be offered up, but instead they proposed this methadone, and I think it's got a bit of a dark history from what I hear. I think it was
it was invented by the Nazis. Yeah, it was invented by the Nazis. It was called Dolafine.
And this is what they decide to dole out to the heroin addict.
Yeah,
it's because they have more control that way.
Addiction.
Because they have more control that way. Because you only have to dose, like I said, honestly, I was a heroin addict for most of my life, and I was using a lot, and I was only using like 3 times a day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I guess, but it was massive amounts at once. And the thing with methadone is you only have to take it once a day, and if you miss like 2 days, it's still active in your system, so your system has a harder time withdrawing.
There's a book that they made a study. It's called the MTD treatment plan. It's something the government had given us, just in case we had those patients and clients. And it's usually somewhere when your levels get to around 800 nanograms per milliliter of blood is usually when you start feeling the withdrawals from methadone. And the problem with methadone, and I've even witnessed, this is something that's very obscure to even heroin. Okay, when they get the tremors, which is not like a normal opiate. The wiggles, the wobbles.
Yeah, they do. That's right. They call it liquid handcuffs. It destroys your life. You can't go anywhere without it being in your system, or you get way sicker than I think if you're having like a heroin withdrawal. I don't know. I don't know what the government reason to, like you say, obviously there's alternative agendas, but it messes people up badly, and I know this firsthand. So, yeah, I don't know why they're still running these programs, particularly like you guys mentioned. I've not heard of that drug that you mentioned earlier.
Ibogaine?
That helps heroin addicts? Yeah.
Ibogaine.
Yeah, I mean...
Kratom. You have to be really careful with Ibogaine. If you have taken any opiates, like within a month of taking Ibogaine, it can fucking kill you.
Well, usually,
You're right.
the ibogaine treatment program is kind of like been this, it's not really, you'll hear about it in other countries and stuff.
In
but,
other countries, because they don't profit off of the fucking drugs that we do.
Yeah.
Essentially, what you do is you'll give a patient you'll give them so much ibogaine. Go ahead.
You get a drug addict, and you catch them with possession or whatever, and they're fucking in the system, and they profit off you going to jail. They profit off you going to fucking treatment, and their treatments aren't shit. The treatment with ibogaine is like one dose of a pretty
potent psychedelic
hallucinogen. One dose, and you're no longer physically addicted to the drugs that you're doing, cigarettes, methamphetamines, heroin. But the thing you have to worry about, which I just found out about, is if you have opiates in your system, I think like 2 weeks to a month before you take ibogaine, you can die. So you kind of have to step back from that shit. But as far as everything else, there's no physical withdrawals. There's no mental withdrawals. When people take ibogaine, when they actually want to quit doing drugs, when they take ibogaine, they stop. It's a 90% success rate for up to 2 years. We all relapse. But it's a 90% success rate. If you want to quit doing what the fuck ever you're doing that's addictive physically or mentally, and you take ibogaine, then 90% of the time you're done. You're done for at least a couple of years. And that's why it's illegal in this country, because we profit off of throwing our drug addicts in prison, making our drug addicts go to treatment. They take the beds that the courts will tell people you have to go to treatment, and these people don't want treatment.
Oh yeah, and the weirdest part is when you get involved with the court system and drug treatment is if you bounce out of the drug treatment, you're slapped with another fucking charge, not only for relapsing but from escaping from a facility that you were supposed to be at. Ain't that some shit?
No, it's not. It's just another tool to control us, is all it is.
Yeah.
And that's basically what, fucking generations, hundreds of years, they've been refining ways to control us. And it needs to stop. Michelle, you're over there in Ireland. Your people have struggled pretty heavily against the English or whatever. What do you have to say?
She's in Australia.
Guys, it's late. Have a good night.
That's all right. We're quite a long way away. So it's all good. I know you guys there's not much outside of America. But it's
the same struggle.
I don't know. In my opinion, we're very Americanized. We follow a lot of what you guys have got going on over there. Unfortunately, our elite seem to be following your elite, but also we are tied to the crown. So that complicates the matter in my eyes, because the crown are sort of the masters of manipulation and control and subjugation and all of that. We know they're all in cahoots. The West, I don't sort of think of USA, Australia. I think of the West as a whole, because it seems to be this Western domination, this Western culture. I think it started with the Industrial Revolution, maybe, where it started to get really quite turn into a powerful machine.
So it's not really. we need to come together as a people, as a whole, to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same government overreach, the same political issues that are holding us down that we really need to get together behind. And I know I've talked to you, Mitch, a lot about this, or you've talked to me a lot about this, but it's the same things that we need to get behind as a whole to make a difference for humanity. Because we don't really have nations anymore. I mean, we're basically all one people now.
Yeah, thanks to the internet, actually, it's helping to accelerate global consciousness. So I really think that these old paradigms of, my nation and your flag and all this crap, I'd like to see that start to die away. And, the people that do see benefit in us being able to all, I know it's hard because the world's a crazy place and there's some bad people, but if we can travel more freely, if we can, work with each other and share with each other and not be so guarded, that would be the goal. But I mean, I don't see how it's possible with, so many lions out there wanting power and trying to destroy, other nations and all of the above.
It's possible with the internet right now.
Yeah.
We all have global outreach. I mean, I know we all have friends from all over the fucking world. So
we do.
It's grassroots efforts. It's grassroots, but it's global grassroots. It's not like community.
And I think we've found that we share more things in common than we, in fact, have in difference. There are a lot more things that unite us than separate us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've found. I've spoken to people, like you say, all over the world. And, when I speak to, one of the other, members of the Anon family or anyone else, really, I just think of them as one, like I always think, try to recognize the ways in which they're, the same as you, not separate from you. And through that, I managed to find common ground with so many people. And I find that we're really all wanting at our core the same things. And, with all of the intelligent minds that are in that, surely we can make a huge difference. We keep pushing over the next, however many years we've got to put into it.
That's a beautiful way to look at things. That's a beautiful way to look at things. And that's really what it's about. We aren't going to make a fucking difference if we can't come together as one people to make the difference.
That's essentially, what the internet was about, was to come and bring, interconnect people, in a way it kind of has, but the way that social media has been acting up recently with all the censorship and the banning and you can't post this and that, it's almost like they're almost on purpose trying to divide us, even on the electronic level. And then we have to go to these alternative sources to contact other people. You know what I mean?
They have been doing this. When I started doing this shit, it was telephone calls. I don't know if you guys remember like old dial telephones or whatever. Maybe some, but it was telephone calls and newsletters that we sent in the fucking mail. I mean, when I became an activist, that's how we did shit. It was local meetings, telephone calls, and newsletters and shit. And now we have the internet. So let's make a fucking difference. I mean, let's do some damage and make things better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I liked what Rose come on before, and she was sort of reaching out to a lot of people. I mean, like people like myself. Like I want to do more. I'm a pretty savvy person, but I'm new to this. I wasn't doing this back when there wasn't the internet. But I want to learn more, and I want to keep doing this, and I'm not going to stop, and I'll keep doing it until I'm old and grey and passed on. Hopefully I've seen some difference, but like I really respect people that are a lot more senior and a lot more involved, reaching out like that and saying, come on, guys, and we'll help and we'll show you. So I really want to reach out to her about that. And, you know, I hope other people do. And I hope we see more of this and less of this, oh, you're not real and you're no good and your message isn't important. I mean, that's, you know, that's bullshit. Everybody's opinions are relevant in this, and we need to start and, I think, respect and guide each other and help each other up, you know.
Yes, exactly. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, but I heard you guys, you know, also, like, there are people that won't accept guidance. You know, that's up to egos, I guess. But, you know, it wouldn't stop me from still trying to gently, you know, help somebody, or, you know, if they had something really wrong, or maybe there was something about Anonymous that they misunderstood, or, you know, had wrong, I would definitely clarify it, you know, and take the time to at least, you know, spend 5 minutes with them to explain. And it is hard and it is time consuming. I'm sure everybody's inbox is jam packed with all sorts of craziness, but I think it's
You're telling me.
yeah, I think it's worth, you know, trying to you know, to provide guidance or a bit of support or whatever you can.
It is, because you do touch people. I mean, when you're working towards an effort or something like that, you do touch people and you do make a difference. You do make people that weren't aware of the issues and problems that we deal with, you make them aware. You know, I mean, sometimes we get laughed at. Sometimes people talk shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, our hearts and minds are in the right place. And the things we're working towards are for the betterment of the world and humanity. And that's really the biggest issue. We need to take care of our planet and then take care of one
and try
another.
to be good to each other as much as we can. I mean, it's very difficult. You know, with people, they're sort of trying to please themselves in a sense. But you know, if everybody wants to please themselves, I mean, they do need to consider the condition of the planet. I mean, it supports our life. I mean, that's how can anybody, you know, even the darkest of souls, you know, question the fact that we need to look after the planet? I mean,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
if we don't have the planet, we don't have anything to eat or feed or
exactly.
live on, you know.
Yeah, it's dust in the wind without it. So, you know, the big push against big oil, you know, I see that as a huge fight to unite everybody. I mean, people have tried before, but they didn't have the internet, you know, and now we do. And, you know, we also have clean energy technology, you know, and we have a lot of people that are doing a lot of amazing things in the self-sustainability communities, off-grid things. That's a topic that I've been looking at a lot lately, you know, because I'd like to get away from support of this grid, this system, as much as possible.
Yeah, I've even looked into some of the stuff, and you know, my biggest limiting factor has always been even money. So there has to, you know what I mean. So a lot of us have to come together to come and get these technologies out to, like, you know, Joe Schmo who ain't got nothing, you know.
Yeah, that's a tough one too, you know, and you know, I know it's our principle, you know, not to profit, which I wholeheartedly agree on. I think all insights, you know, it always seems to lose value when somebody starts to charge money. But at the same time, I'd like to see people, or at least within the Anon community, maybe if there are initiatives like, you know, we need film, you know, gear or things like that, or projects started that people could, you know, invest in that. I mean, I freely would. Even my father, who's an old anarchist from way back, basically said to me the other day, like, if these guys need a bit of money for, you know, some of these ops or some of these things, you let me know. If you think that it's worthwhile, you tell me, and I will give some money, you know. I don't know, like, I mean, I hate the concept of money, but, you know, what else can we do at this stage?
Not much. I mean, unless somebody has the resources and everything in their backyard, somebody's going to have to be purchasing money to get everything to somebody someplace. You know, I mean, not necessarily making a profit, but somebody has to buy the materials to get it out to everybody else. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like a trusted nominee or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it work, but yeah, like, and just so that you know that the equipment is, you know, a whole heart, you know, someone that's in it with their heart and soul and has, you know, put blood, sweat and tears maybe in for God knows how many years that could really be trusted by everybody, a consensus. I don't know, but I really do think, yeah, the financial thing is something that needs to be explored in the sense that we need cameras and we need people out there to do the live streams. And yeah, I don't know how you would go about that, given our principles, you know.
It's against our creed to profit. Like, as Anonymous, we're really not supposed to be able to profit. Like, we can't sell shirts or fucking, you know, do anything and make money. But if we can make some money and put it back into the collective, like actually put it back into our efforts and resources and stuff, we could really do some damage. I know we've already really done some damage, but
yeah, I assume that people, you know, secretly put funds into it and things like that, as much as possible. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that, you know, that sort of support happens. Because yes, I do agree that, you know, it's not good for anybody to make any profit or become, you know, grow fat off this beautiful, truthful idea that's being shared. But yeah, like the resources to fight back against the elite just kind of are lacking in the sense that, yeah, for the media, we need to pull some punches there, I think, and we can really push against their media. I mean, everybody knows it's fake already. So.
But if we can generate some money, put it in the right places, we can do a lot more damage. We just need to make sure that we're not generating money for ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
We're really not supposed to. I would never take a dollar from anybody for any efforts I've done under the anonymous name.
No, exactly.
Stuff.
Or you're gonna end up like a non-HQ, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, like that's not. I don't believe, you know. Actually, there's been, you know, the few people out there that are toting, you know, the oneness idea, you know, are asking for money, and it just annoys me. Some aren't, but some are, and the ones that are, you know, to me, they lose a little bit of credibility in my eyes. But you know, it'd be good to see resources being used towards the anonymous disposal more. I just, you know, I hope that it just sort of emerges somehow organically. I don't know. Yeah, I assume it will. At least we have live stream now happening, which is great. I mean, this has been fantastic, this show. You know, the amount of engagement and clarity that people get from watching it. Well, myself, I can vouch for, at least.
And you're going to be our backup. You're going to be the backup of the backup.
Yeah, no, I like coming on here. I really actually appreciate being able to come and have a bit of a chat. But yeah, like I'm still learning, but yeah, I'm going to be around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm really a determined person. My heart and soul's in it. But yeah, we all have a lot to learn, and I think the best thing is to kind of realize that you have a lot to learn, and you know, not let ego rule the day, and be willing to listen to others, and be willing to cooperate and network, and you know, form good groups of friends. I know you can't be everyone's best friend in this, but you know, there are people that I trust more than others, I have to say, and that's unfortunate. But there's been some crazy stuff since the beginning of 2017, so yeah, I don't know. I just want to see the future, more productive things happening for us all. I really want to be involved in it and learn more, you know.
You are involved in it, and there's, you know, I think the best thing we can do is, when we find a good effort, is we build teams. And
yeah,
that's what I've seen, is we put together teams of people that are involved in our efforts and stuff, and do our best to make a difference.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and these are the people, you know, ironically, that you do see every single day, basically, you know. And I know these people have lives and families and jobs, and they're trying to make, you know, their life work in this crazy system. But they're also, you know, whether it's, you know, hacking or organizing, you know, activist events or talking to people generally, or even on the net. You know, there are people that are out there really doing everything they can, and there's going to be more. Like, I think we're going to wake more up. That's my personal passion. You know, I like to try to make the people that are sleeping see as much as I can. Yeah.
Get more people on our fucking team. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and it comes down to being the morally correct person. You know, I mean, so many people want to be right. We all want to fucking love each other and work together for the planet. Maybe not all of us. but
Most
us
of us
activists, we all want to work together and kind of promote our ideas and unite. And that's basically what it comes down to, is standing together and supporting our family, our human family.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I take courage in, how far like things have come, and for some of you guys that have been around a very long time fighting for this, while some of us were still asleep or still very, young, going through the education system and things like that. I think that it's just a snowball effect. I see. I would have never imagined 5 years ago, basically, that there'd be a live show and that a bunch of anonymous would all be chatting. But I should have realised that was going to happen. But it's awesome. But it's awesome. I just want to see more, progression in that sense. And it's fascinating too, because I have people on my page that I don't consider awake or anonymous, and I'm telling you, they are getting involved. They are listening. They are hearing us. So yeah. I just, I look at all the positives when I'm feeling a bit down, or I see, a shitstorm in a chat room or something like that. I just think of, all of the minds that we're reaching out to and, getting through to, and take comfort in that.
I really think we're doing a pretty good job. I mean, we have our hits and misses. We have a lot of ops and stuff that we do a little bit of damage, but they don't go anywhere. And then we have some that, I mean, like this. We have a lot of ops that actually do make a difference and wake a lot of other people up, and we can help. But it's a gamble. You never know. I mean, you can get behind something wholehearted, and it won't go anywhere. Or you can get behind something wholehearted, and it'll just go insane.
Yeah, that's very true. But, I think a lot of people would have assumed, or a lot of naysayers, many naysayers probably would have assumed that we wouldn't all be here still now. Over the years, I've seen people go, "Oh, anonymous, they'll be gone." You won't see that. And I've only seen it expand and rise, and more people wake up, and well, I mean, we are everybody, so and you really cannot stop an idea. So I don't think that the domino effect's going to stop, despite the storms or the turmoil or whoever decides to attack us. It's just going to keep. The people are going to become more conscious. So then hopefully solutions are going to come out of that.
I'm getting a lot of support from my own personal family that I really would have never suspected.
Yeah, me too. That was a shock to me, actually. I thought they thought I was a little bit extreme at one point, and they sort of at first argued a little bit, but then now I see them, start to comment or ask me questions or take notice. So, yeah, I guess it's funny that, isn't it? You can lead by example, even when your ideas are not, part of the main culture.
We all have to lead by example, even the new and stuff. We all have to be morally correct, and we all just basically have to be morally correct. And it's easy to get a lot of new people involved, but it's also easy to get plants and stuff like that, which I think is something we should probably talk about.
I think it's going to get worse, actually. They're being paid. I mean, there was even a show on Australia Four Corners about the government. It was reaching out to pay people to get on here from our country. So Yeah, it's happening.
It looks like we got about 7 minutes left. I hate to say, you know, to not trust other people or whatever, other anonymous or other any activists, but it is a fact that the FBI pays for people to get involved with us to watch us. And I don't want to make people paranoid or anything, but we really need to kind of watch for flags and stuff like that. And we really need to always take the higher ground and be the better person.
Yeah, agreed. It's more powerful that way, you know. And you look, we're all human, you know. We all make mistakes or have a bit of turmoil in our lives or something like that. But I think in our hearts, most of us, you know, we're good people. We're not perfect people, but we're good people. And if we keep, you know, seeking to do the right thing rather than, you know, the wrong thing or hurt each other, I don't see how we can go wrong. I mean, I seem to avoid a lot of drama, and I just try not to be, you know, bad to people. You know, I just try to encourage people, and you know, I want people to do well. You know, so it'd be good to see more of that.
I think most of us step into this with the understanding that we could very likely lose our freedom. Like we could very likely go to prison for just talking.
Yeah,
you know,
and a lot of people are scared. That's why a lot of people, you know, a lot of people message me and they go, "Thank you so much. You know, keep saying what you're saying." But I think, well, why aren't you saying what I'm saying? And the reason is they're scared.
Yep. And that's got to stop. I mean, if we go down, we need to show each other support, which is what I've seen. As far as Anonymous goes, if one of our family goes down, we do rally and show a lot of support towards our family for stupid shit. Like as far as going to jail for a traffic ticket or going to jail for cyber crimes, you know, we usually do come together and help our family out as much as we can. And I'm pretty proud to be a part of this movement. And
yeah, me too.
Me too.
A lot of outstanding people here.
Yeah, comes from the heart. For you know, you spot the people that it comes, you know, from the heart. I think, you know, because they're the kind of people that I think we've got. Like, I don't care, you know, I can say it. Like, you know, if the government wants to come and take me for speaking what's true in my heart about what I've seen about the system that I've, you know, been brought up in, then so be it, because it's wrong. Like, it's purely wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather leave the world having spoken my truth about what I see than, you know, live a life as a hypocrite and just keep taking from the planet. I can't do it.
It's about standing the higher ground. You know, I mean, most of us are not afraid to keep fighting, even though we're risking a lot. Like, I don't know. I don't think I talked about this on the show today, but I was just messaging people on the show, and you know, you can rape a little kid. I mean, you can rape a 3-year-old and only expect a couple years. But if you do a denial of service attack on a company, you're looking at like 20 years. You know, I mean, what the fuck is that? You can rape
Yeah, you
a
need to
child.
think about what that says. I mean, what does that say? You know what I mean? What about society? What does that say? You know, like, that's just if just the general public, these people that are still sleeping, can't see, you know, every time humanity makes a play to have some freedom, it's come down on like a ton of bricks with some sort of ridiculous laws to prevent it from being free.
It's government.
I don't know. It's obvious to me these days. It kills me.
It's government and corporations. Humanity sees these things as wrong.
It does.
I mean, who was gonna say, you know, raping a 3-year-old kid is okay? All right, let's just give them, you know, a couple months or whatever. But if you do a denial of service attack or hack, and you're gonna get like 20 years, 14 years, 10 years, 10 years. I mean, it's
speaks for itself.
We have
it's another form of protest, is all it is, and it's constitutionally protected. We have the right to protest.
All right, we got like 1 minute.
All right. Well, peace, love, and good night, family.
Night, guys. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you.